Good afternoon, lads. Welcome to the old monthly gallery review stream. What's going on? We have got a new member at the top of the chat. I'm seeing Lee. Welcome, mate. I'm guessing, yeah, we saw you join this morning, didn't we? In the old Discord. Where's the? There it is, Aussie. Aussie on Discord. I've let out the secret name. Lee, what's going on, mate? Thank you for becoming a member, mate. And obviously, yeah, I can see you've submitted your gallery for review already, which is fun. We'll definitely get that taken care of in the stream. Lads, what's going on? Hope you all got your lineups in. 30 minutes post deadline. Alex Coombs, what's going on, mate? Glenn, back-to-back promotions at Podium, in Rivals. Division 1. Might have found something I'm finally good at. What do you get for that, Glenn? Like, is it, like, obviously it's a box, I'm guessing, but what's, like, the percentages on card rewards and stuff? Let me know. Mel said, what's your secrets? We got back-to-back promotions as well, but finding it hard with less games on. Yeah, it feels like the meta on Rivals, not that I've played it, like, since 2.0 too much, but it feels like a volume thing, like having, playing loads of games. Drake, what's going on, mate? Tobias, Tom. Melv says afternoon as well. Melv, what's going on, mate? Ian, David Taylor, the lads, Ben, what's going on, pal? And Adriano, what's going on? Really appreciate you all popping in, lads. Glenn says, not sure to be honest, I tried to target games. I know it certainly becomes a game of cat and mouse when you get near the top, whether to risk playing more or let others drop. Yeah, because you could technically end up working your way to the top without playing, couldn't you, if people above you are losing games and stuff. Yeah, interesting little strategy, that. Johnny, what's going on, pal? Just got third in Div 1 and got 5 arena tickets. Ouch. I somehow managed to win a card in 240 but never hit the threshold. Labrovic is not in the good books. Yeah, as you know, that killed me as well this weekend. But yeah, it didn't really matter. But nice to have a little card win, though. Threshy as well would have been, I guess, the icing on the cake. But yeah, you got to take it. Simo, what's going on, pal? So top 2 in D1 are guaranteed a card. I got Hakimi last week for second and came first this week. Guaranteed a card and a small chance of a jersey. Jesus, that's fucking decent, by the way. That is not bad at all. Especially if you're getting like tier 1s and stuff, like Hakimi probably is, or maybe he's a tier 2, I don't know. But he's got to be in and around that, hasn't he? Florine, what's going on, mate? First time live. I really appreciate you popping in, mate. So yeah, everyone's... Well, actually, not everyone. I was looking on my phone then. I did see 5 likes on arrival, but there's, 24 of us in here now. I'm counting myself as being in here, but I've already liked it, so I don't count anymore. I'm out of the equation. Lads, can we see the old like count move up a little bit? What's it on? 6 likes. 22 of us in here. Surely that gets to 15. Only takes 2 seconds. Just lets YouTube know that you're enjoying yourself around here. Maybe you just... You could be lying to me, and that's fine, but... YouTube still needs to know that you've liked the stream. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, so everyone submitted their gallery reviews. How many have we got to go through? It feels like not that many, but maybe I'm just mistaken, and yeah, maybe I've just calculated wrong. But what have we got? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 so far. I'm guessing maybe we'll get a few more, whilst we're live, potentially added on. So yeah, it should be fun. If you are new to the channel / Sorare maybe, and you are interested in gallery reviews, private Discord, and I was going to say bi-weekly, but it's not. It's twice a week. You'll get your lineups built for you if you have, obviously, lineups midweek, weekend. Consider joining the member section of the channel. £1 a week, lads. And yeah, we've got a healthy amount of members, to be fair. And honestly, I'm blown away with the Discord. Like I'm in a few different Discords. I've noticed over the years some die off just because there's just less activity, whatever. People just aren't as interested in the game, and that's fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. The Discord's popping off a little bit. Like, there's just always someone there to kind of... If someone has a question, if I can't answer it, or if I'm not awake or whatever, there's always somebody in there that really, feels like they can help out, which is just amazing. So I really do appreciate how active our little Discord is. it's growing. We're not quite at, what are we, 19, what's that, 70, 75, we've got 75 members in there so far. But it's really good. I really enjoy interacting in there. And yeah, hopefully the bigger and better it gets and all that fun stuff. Just catching up on the chat. I'm new to Sorare. Why don't I have 240? Probably because, Tom, you didn't play it previous to like them saying that they're getting rid of the 240, which was like a few months ago. So if you hadn't played it at any point before they announced that, then yeah, you wouldn't have that as an option, basically, which is a bit annoying, but that's what it is. Dave says, did I get any rewards this week? I got one reward. I got a tier 4 rare in under 23. Scraped it, I think, in the end. Oh, no, it moved down to a tier 5. That is so annoying. Half a point away. I jinxed myself. I was like 138th, and then like I've just slipped further and further down the leaderboard, and now I'm the second highest tier 5 that would work out as, I think, or maybe the third. But yeah, better than a kick in the teeth. And I've got like 3 boxes. I was the last but one to win a box in Champ D1 Rare. So as you can see there, 92 places, obviously because it goes off percentages now, get a box, and I was obviously 91st, which was nice. Mika Marmol absolutely just destroying me, to be honest, which was not fun. But yeah, no, nothing else to really shout about. 40 points off here. Obviously, Layson, I mean, yeah, it was not a doubt, but you just didn't know what was going to go on at the end of that Belgium league. Got a couple of boxes from this one here. This was a bit of a throwaway, to be fair. Campbell came off the bench. This was obviously the disappointing one, in that, like, yeah, this was my prioritized lineup. Mertens delivered on the last day of the season. But yeah, the rest of the boys did not. I would have won Cap 240, well, not won it, but, you know, I would have hit the lower threshold in 240 Super Rare, but I was greedy again. I went for the middle, but, like, big chance created, 3 attempted assists. Big chance created, 2 attempted assists, 2 shots on target. Like, I'm another decisive away there from getting, you know, probably hitting it. I was lucky, man, because Kook did concede the 3rd goal in like the 97th minute. So yeah, I was very lucky there that got chalked off. But yeah, just annoying that we weren't able to hit the big one there. But it is what it is. It happens. Sorry, Maxwell, what's going on, mate? Is that the same for thresholds? Yeah, I think so, mate. Johnny says, "Oh, watch some Harry to brighten up your day." Johnny, honestly, that makes me feel really, really good. To be honest, mate. Thank you so much for saying that. As long as you mean it. If you don't mean it, then you know, then we'll have to sort that out. But nah, I'm only messing, mate. Yeah, Dave, that's all kind of 3 boxes and 1 reward for me. What about you, mate? What we got? Aaron says he hit his first rare 390. Aaron, that is fucking, as your second name says, that is large, mate. That's real large. Fair play. That's really, really good. Stan, what's going on, mate? Tom says, the Discord is great for football nerds with no social life like me. And yeah, I definitely fall into that category as well. 100%, Tom. Tom, is this the stream? Why? There we go. Is this a stream that checks everyone's account? Yeah, Tom, it is. It is. Tobias says, Trunier would have had like 2 or 3 big chances if Vassant knew he could pass the ball. Yeah, don't get me started on Chonier's lack of big chances created and all that fun stuff. Can we expect Germany and England friendly fixtures to show up in Sorare soon for this weekend? Do they play this weekend, do they? Sorare, Joel? I thought like fixtures would be the like, what? Because this weekend is what? Like date wise. It's the 31st to the 4th. Is that when like England play this weekend, do they? I thought they play in the midweek, which is between the 4th and 6th of June. From what I kind of remember them saying, but I definitely could be wrong. I don't know exactly when that England fixture is, but we'll definitely have a little look. I know a load of Europe, like friendlies are on the 6th. Oh yeah, it is the 6th as well. No, it's not the 3rd. No, you're right. Yeah, so technically there should be, if we get it, well, yeah, if it's covered, which Sora said they aren't showing up, probably because they don't know themselves which friendlies are going to actually be covered, because there was a list of names of teams or nations, whatever, Oh, what do I have here? A little... What's this? Oh, better look next time. I played that the Leverkusen rival game. Guess I didn't win much from that. Yeah, no, I don't know how that'll look. Let me just have a look. If anything is up, as far as like fixtures go. But yeah, I don't think they know right now like what teams or what nations are gonna definitely be covered, you know. So yeah, it might be tricky. And like Opta probably haven't adjusted the squads as well for these fixtures. Like it's gonna be a real tricky one, I think. From like a I don't know. I'm expecting them to come out and be like, these are the fixtures that are covered. Maybe on like Sorare support or something, but I really don't know. I can see the Uruguay fixture already, but not in SRD. So not in Sorare data. Is it normal that I don't have my contender award? Yeah, rewards come out at 7 p.m. Yeah, Alex says that. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's a weird one. I didn't realize Uruguay play as well this game week. Yeah, it'll be a tricky one. I don't know how they're going to combat that, genuinely. I don't know how they're going to get around it. Because, like, before, you could see every fixture, couldn't you? Like, you know, if you went on, I don't know, All-Star, you could, like, see fixtures. And I feel like you can't do that anymore. Which I think is really confusing from, like, a new user standpoint. Never mind somebody that's been on here for donkeys. Like, I don't know. It's a real weird one, that like you can't see fixtures unless you go on Sorare data. But like you're saying, these friendlies aren't updated on Sorare data. So right now you're just in the dark basically. You don't really know when, when it's all gonna come through and populate. So yeah, real weird one. But yeah, I guess that's a topic for another day. Hopefully we find out today. But yeah, we're gonna get crack-a-lacking with the gallery reviews. So Shaforical is up first. I think Shaforical is trolling me a little bit. I don't know whether he's still in here. Ivan Kemp said, hi mate, how you been finding it without Play Sharper? Obviously not as easy and concise, you know, but it ain't impossible, obviously. I think Sorare Inside's been my biggest help, I would say. Being in that Discord, that's really helped. Obviously, I think they're having they're getting like a website or whatever as well. So that's, yeah, whatever. I don't really know all the ins and outs of it all. But yeah, they've been pretty helpful. I have a mainly, especially for the summer now, I have mainly an MLS gallery. So, yeah, following like what Sorare Deek says and whatever, wrote a wire, and obviously does the same over in that Sorare Discord, Sorare Inside and whatever. There's going to be a big competition now, isn't there, to be like, who's the next Play Sharper, it feels like. And, you know, whatever. Fair play to anyone that tries. Because I definitely think it's left a hole in the community. And yeah, it depends where your players are from, obviously, right? Because if you can't get I do have a few obscure players playing in like Chile or whatever. Like it just is tough getting predictions from them. Where before sometimes you might get them on a Play Sharper, right? So yeah, those if you've got cards from those type of leagues, then it becomes like ultra tricky. But if you've got like MLS and maybe J League, you know, all you need to do is just subscribe to that Sorare Japan, whatever, a Patreon. That's what I do, to find out info there. And there's obviously roundabout ways to do it everything out, and it's a little bit more tricky. But yeah, it's just part of it, isn't it? Adapt or die. It feels like right now, but it's summer as well, so there's less pressure. I think if it was like during the European season or at the start, it would have been real tricky. The England players I have are shown as no game. Yeah, I can see that. David says, what I've realized is as much as experts were hammered at times on Play Sharper, I'm seeing so many people now making more DMP mistakes. Easy ones which an expert would pick up before. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get that, aren't you? When people are coming out of the woodwork saying, you know, I'm an expert, I'm this, I'm that. And like, you know, if you're one of these sort of one of these new Play Sharpers in whatever capacity, if you ain't getting the best guy, then you're getting like the second and third best guy for that team or whatever, and quality's probably going to drop, right, as far as predictions go. So yeah, there's definitely nothing's going to be perfect, but I think as long as you've got like a base to go off, as long as you can just see something, then at the end of the day, it still falls on you as a user of those cards and an owner of those cards to know, do you think they're going to play or not type of thing, right? It has to fall on you, but it is nice to just visually see something that somebody else has predicted, even though they might be not way off, but off in some areas that you can use your personal knowledge to sort of go against sometimes. Daniel says some of the extras inside horrible. See, I don't play K-League, so yeah, I wouldn't know about that. But yeah, if you're tapped in like you sound like you are, Dan, then you're gonna pick up on that, right? So it's just, you're gonna sniff the frauds out quite quickly, I think, aren't you? So yeah. Anyway, let me get on to a few of these gallery reviews. Okay, Shiforical first. Shiforical's goal is to win podium every game week, which I think we can all resonate with. And then his question is, main plan is to bring in Allison, not sure what to do or what else is essential, basically. So I'm pretty sure Shiforical is mainly a champion player. As far as his gallery goes, just looking at some of his better players as far as floor goes, obviously Son being the main boy. 2 goalkeepers, interesting. Like 2 of the most expensive cards in his gallery are goalkeepers. Well, 2 out of the 3, sorry. Cherry Simons, Cravadonna, Gvardiol, nice. Baturina probably gets a move, doesn't he? I think this summer, potentially. Van Dijk, nice Euro utility. Dembele the same. Ollie Watkins. Okay, so we do have a bit of K-League. Arsenal. Kramaric. So, I mean, if we're going, let's just do goalkeepers for now. I want to see the actual quality of keepers. So, Livakovic is still at Fenner. Whether he moved, I don't know. But let's just call it, Emmy, Leno, Sells if he stays. I think he does. 2, 3, 4 with Herdecki. I'm talking champ keepers. Yeah, so 4 keepers there. Obviously, all champ. Yeah, all like classic for next season. I think Prem, obviously you want to bring in Allison as well, so that'd be like 5 champ keepers if nothing else changes. Feels like a decent amount. If we're talking how good a Prem team could be, Guardiola, Van Dijk, Gabriel, Robinson, really nice little base there, I would say, especially even second row is still relatively decent. Nico Williams, love it. Midfielders, Havertz, Douglas Luiz, Gross. I'd argue midfielders could do with a bit of boost if we're like if you are looking to play Prem Shiforical. I don't know if you are because you haven't actually said, but yeah, if you are looking to play Prem, I'd definitely say like you've got good mids. I know Havertz has been really good towards the end of the season. Whether he continues that next season, I don't know. But I think you are missing like a big midfielder there for me. If you wanted to take things to like the next level, like a Rodri or whatever. Forwards as well, obviously lots of Aston Villa boys. Son is great as well. But I guess you've probably find. I don't know if I was to say to buy one position, right, like forward or mid. I'd probably say forward, honestly. Like if Watkins ain't on it and then Bailey ain't on it, obviously you're relying on Son, which you can relatively take for granted as far as how he's going to be. Could you argue maybe another... I'd definitely say another forward and another mid needs to be in the equation if we're talking like an amazing Prem team. I think the mids are fine. Like, they're good. They're good mids. If Gross leaves, and that's one gone again. If he goes back to Bundesliga or whatever. So, I definitely think there's a bit of room to improve. If we're talking champ itself, going a bit broader, like Xavi Simons comes into the equation. I didn't mean that. Xavi Simons, obviously Modric, but he's probably only going to have a supplementary role next season. Hoffman, I'd still say like a really good mid could come into the equation, whether that is Prem, whether that is Bundesliga or whatever. I think defenders, you're quite stacked. I'd be quite happy with what you got defender-wise. And goalkeeper, I know, Simo was saying in the chat there, they might want Alisson. Al-Nassr want Alisson, so yeah, it could be one to maybe hold back on as far as pulling the trigger on that one, Shiforical. But you look pretty set for champ. Like I'd definitely say maybe a mid and a forward for Prem if we're talking like playing Premier League Classic next season. And so yeah, I'd say those would be semi-essential if you are definitely playing Prem. Champ, I would definitely then say on a broader term, definitely another mid, like a really good mid of some sort. to go alongside what you've got. Adriano says, brought Courtois in for next season. Think I could use him for Euros, but forgot about his problem with the coach. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to play for improvements. Despo, what's going on, mate? Christoph? I want to upgrade my Premier League under-23 Champ Europe depth, all limited. Any possible restructuring of current gallery, maybe some players to swap to achieve 0.3. Okay. So, let me do under-23 first, because that is probably the easiest to maybe, sort of pinpoint. So, obviously, next season we can play 3 under-23 limited sides, 3 rare, 3 super rare, which is obviously really, really fun. I know Despa does like his, Christoph, sorry, does like his under-23s. Mamadashvili probably moves, but he'll still be under-23. Just hope he keeps the gig, if that makes sense. So looking at this, I definitely say you're in need of some goalkeepers. Obviously got a few MLS boys in there, but definitely from what I'm seeing here, you're definitely going to need a few like nailed starting under-23 keepers for next season. If you're looking to play multiple lineups, even if you're looking to play one, like let's argue Mamadashvili goes to Newcastle and is behind Nick Pope. Well then, after MLS finishes, you've basically not got a keeper here, from what I'm seeing. Like that's definitely going to start. So I think that's glaringly obvious for sure. Beavers might start, but again, MLS again. Beavers probably starts this midweek, I'd assume. Yeah, Egan, what's going on, mate? Won't be able to stay for long. Appreciate the stream. No worries at all, mate. No worries at all, pal. Thank you for popping in. 58 of us in here, lads, by the way. Really, really nice numbers. If we can get a few likes on the old stream, let YouTube know you're enjoying yourself. Honestly, that mean the world to me. Okay, defenders. Gvardiol, nice. Garcia, good. Mickey van der Ven, nice. Malanda, Zabanier. I mean, you've probably got enough to get away with one good under-23 lineup, but if we're talking multiple, then I definitely think, a couple of defenders wouldn't go amiss either. Midfielders, Tuameni will age out. You got Soboslai. Harvey Elliott might be pretty fun. Gibbs White's a nice one, but I think he might age out as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's 24, so he'll age out. Ugarte, I think he got another year. Carvalho's got a couple more. I think Curtis Jones has a couple as well. So, I mean, like an amazing, really good MLS depth, I would say. Obviously, Puig being the highlight, but he'll age out as well this summer. So if we're talking like next season, I'd say your under-23 so far would need a bit of an overhaul if we're talking like European under-23 players. Alvarez ages out, I believe. Could be wrong, but Alvarez will age out. Diaby might age out as well, Yeah, he does. You've got Bino Gittens. Callum Hudson-Odoi might have another year. Or have I made that up? Yeah, he should have another year. Kulusevski ages out. Dwight McNeil ages out, I think. Or maybe I've made that up again. Yeah, I think he ages out. Honestly, like if you're looking to take under 23 like more serious, it's definitely a need for like I'd say an overhaul of every position if we're being completely honest. Now that we have like 3 positions of 3 lineups available to us to play, I'd say like a decent overhaul could go into under 23s if you want to take that serious. Isaac Jensen bought out by Viborg will be a solid under 23 option. Nice, okay. Tango Berry, what's going on, mate? But honestly, despite I definitely think under 23s could do with a really decent overhaul. And then we're talking Premier League stuff. Let's have a look at what Premier League stuff we've got going on. So goalkeepers, we've got Alisson, Jose Sarr. Basically, so 2 keepers. If Alisson leaves, obviously that's a bit of an issue. But let's just say he doesn't for now. 2 goalkeepers, Trent, Gvardiol, Van Dijk, Ruben Diaz, Robertson, Van der Ven. Yeah, you look set for defenders. I wouldn't really ask of you to upgrade there. Rodri's a massive one, so kudos to getting him in. Szoboszlai, Elia, obviously, depending on how Liverpool set up. You've got like 2 or 3 mids there. I'd argue maybe adding 1 more cert in there would be really, really interesting. You just don't know what's going to go on with Liverpool. Is Diaz going to go Barca? Is Salah going to leave? Darwin? Like, you're looking at multiple Liverpool players here that could end up leaving. Obviously, a few will end up staying. Son being a really nice sort of cert. Outside of that, there's lots of uncertainties. I'd definitely say another mid and another forward for Prem. Just looking at that quite quickly. And then Champ Europe as a whole. Let's have a little look. Champ Europe as a whole. What a days, what's going on, mate? So what does this look like? So it's Becker, it is Testegen, Mamardashvili, Kobel, Casteels, Alex Romero. Yeah, so loads of champ goalkeeper depth. I'm quite happy with that. I don't think that needs really boosting up anywhere. Kunde, Garcia, obviously the Prem boys, Arajo, Blind, Eric Dyer. Yeah, I'd argue you've got a decent array of defenders as well. Some to come back. Gaia when he's not injured. Angelino on certain game weeks. Yeah, I would say defenders are fine. I'm not like in love with it, but there's definitely a good enough contingency to get you through. I'd say mid's honestly pretty set. Obviously, yeah, that Pierre Les Melou broke his leg, didn't he, or something, so that wasn't ideal. Bougigoat, you've got Garcia in there if he moves to Leverkusen. Del Castillo. Yeah, I'd argue mids are probably okay as well. Valverde, Xhaka, Gundogan. There's definitely enough depth there. Forwards, Dovbyk if he moves. Tskanikov. Nice. Kramaric, Rafinha. Yeah, you've probably got enough. Again, it's so hard to say with all this because, moves are going to happen, right? But, from what I've already said, I think I'd echo it all. But, yeah, Champ seems a little bit more set, I would say, than the other two, more condensed, Premier League and Under-23. Definitely, I think you need a bit of an overhaul in Under-23. 100%. Ian, what's going on, mate? Where's Casteels going? I don't. Is he definitely moving, Tobias? I think Salah and Nunes stay. Diaz might go. Yeah, he really wants to go to Madrid, doesn't he, Simo? From what I'm hearing. Madrid. Barca, sorry. You think Nunes stays, do you? That's an interesting one. I get it because I don't really see where he goes, but from what I guess Klopp's gone now, isn't he? So maybe new manager fancies him or whatever. Yeah, no, fair enough. I get that. Okay, Despa, let me know any more questions, mate. I did not spell that right at all. Ian Sorare. So Ian says, I think I finished contender for next year. I'm currently working on Under-23s. I have a budget of around 200 to 250 to either move into Liga, Bundes, Classic, Special / Champ / Challenger. Doesn't really interest me with the amount of OP teams. No, I get that, mate. I get that. Yeah, you've worked super hard on that road to glory, mate. Fair play to you. Smashed it. Okay, so you either want to move into Bundesliga, Liga, Special Comms, and then Specials, Champ, Challenger doesn't really interest you with the amount. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So would like to know if my summer in Asia / contender is all good. So let's have a look at what contenders looks like for you, mate. And then Under-23 for next season. Okay. So let's go goalkeepers. Let's go high to low. Okay, so you got Ulsan keeper. I'm not, the most knowledgeable in the world about K-League cards, but judging by L15s and 5s, things are looking pretty good for those two goalkeepers you've got there. Tangsvik obviously Under-23, Rosenberg not doing too well, but again, Under-23. So you've basically got 2.5 summer keepers there, right? If we're talking Sander as well. So basically 3. Okay, that's fine. So Seo Young-woo's injured. Big Michael, not too bad on his day. A lot of the Ulsan boys are really tasty, aren't they? They've been doing really well defensively, it feels like. Scoring-wise, got 2 goalkeepers. That's probably about right. If you probably want 6, I would say. To be really comfy. But yeah, I think 3, 4, 5 is doable. Obviously, if you want to play double defender in... just dropped my pen. If you want to play double defender in both, you're going to obviously need 4 as a minimum for 2 teams, if that makes sense. Obviously, you know that. But yeah, you'd probably want 6 to choose from if we're talking it that if we're talking that way. Just catching up on the chat, Ian. I'd love to new competition over 35s. I think they did do a special, didn't they? They did do some sort of special, like an oldies. Can't remember when it was. Not too long ago, actually, 2 weeks ago. Mid, Tashibanda, Oberdan, Valeri. So 3 really decent mids there. When I say decent, I'm looking for L15s of 55 and above, realistically. Anything above 50 is fine. more than fine. But so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing like, yeah, 6, probably 5 midfielders here that could see us through. Again, is that enough? Probably. Do I want 6 or so? Maybe if I want to go double mid. And then forwards, Lopez, Michirio, Carvalho. Yeah, you've definitely got enough forwards, I would say. I'd say you're set for forwards. I'd maybe add a mid or a defender. Or both. Like one of each. To be like really certain if we're talking like having 2 teams. I definitely think that definitely needs to be talked about. Or looked into. And then under 23, so goalkeepers, Kavlina, Tangsvik obviously plays during the summer. Labrovic will age out, I believe. So you're looking at what? 2 goalkeepers there, but 1 if we're talking like a legit European player. Because yeah, obviously Sander plays in Europe, obviously Norway, but you know they play through the summer. So obviously you'll have utility for him. You know, when August comes, I'm going to assume for a little bit, but. Yeah, so if you're talking wanting to play 3 teams, you obviously probably need 1 of the keeper because I'm pretty sure Labrovic does age out. Defenders. Van der Kuss looks pretty decent. Foremost Mendy could be a fun one for next season. I'm pretty sure he still ages in. Sakai. Obviously you got the Riker boys. I definitely say there's room for a few decent defenders. This guy looks decent now, 5 of 55. I definitely say, yeah, if you're talking 2 or 3 teams for next season, you're going to need a few, you know, L15 to 55 defenders to go along with that. Midfielders, Fruk, really nice. This Kenzo guy is really, really decent for NEC. Bulat, nice. Hodja, sorry. The Riker boys have a nice little contingency of mids. I'd say you're probably okay for mids if the right moves happen for those Riker boys in certain areas. Nola's going to replace Fruth for the season. Okay, so you'll have 3 keepers there, Ian. Got you. That makes sense. So if you've got your 3 keepers, then yeah, I definitely think a few defenders through the door wouldn't go amiss. Forwards, Peku Fernandez, if he stays, isn't he on loan or have I just made that up? But obviously really good player. Yeah, you've mentioned this guy to me, Pablo Pagis, however you pronounce it. He looks pretty good. Frankovic, I'd definitely say there's room for a few more forwards. I would say 1 or 2. I'd basically say 2 of 6 cards, 2 defenders, 2 mids, 2 forwards. If you really want to bulk out your under 23s, if I'm being honest, that would be how I'd look at it. Only way to improve your gallery if you have 3 cards, deposit money. Tobias, you've hit the nail on the head, mate. Yeah, Ian, I hope that makes sense, mate. If you want to be conservative, I'd say 2-2-1. So like 2 mids, 2 defenders, and 1 forward. But ideally, I'd say 2 of each to really, you know, if you have a good go at under 23s next season, have multiple matchups to play, and all that fun stuff. Hope that makes sense, mate. Okay, Tangled Berry. So. In August, I want to play Champ Classic with my Bayern collection. I will have around 500 quid to spend in August, September, but unsure whether to buy a decent team in-season collection or buy some rares. Also unsure whether to keep my non-Bayern boys to add to the 500. Any other advice, would be great. Okay, so Bayern boys seems like a decent plan, depending on obviously who their gaffer is and whatever. Let me go floor, high to low. So... I mean, Pickford's a lovely one for the summer. If you're looking to play Euros, it's nice to probably keep him in the mix. Because you have obviously Kane, Rice. You basically have an England stack, right? For the most part. Yeah. Do you get rid of all the fringe players that aren't Bayern players? Maybe if they don't if they don't contribute to your strategy. Of playing Bayern players in Classic and then, 500 plus anything you sell goes into another team or another collection or whatever. I'd say 500 quid, you're probably going to, that's probably enough for a decent in-season collection next year in Champ somewhere, whether that's whoever, Leverkusen, Chelsea, wherever. I don't think that's enough to go out and buy a really good rare team, to be honest. You might get a half decent classic rare team if that interests you, but if you want to win back, a decent chunk of that, or try and win a decent chunk of that cash back, as far as, if you're spending £500+ on an in-season limited team, then you're going to look to try and recoup as much as that back from the in-season comms. I definitely think that's a better route than spending £500 on rare, like classic rare teams, in my opinion. I know you haven't said classic rare teams here, but you just said buy some rares. I don't think you would be able to afford an but like a really good rare in-season team collection with £500 plus, if that makes sense. So, like, what's your gallery worth? 712. I mean, excluding the buy-in players here, but Pickford's a big chunk. It's 10% basically of your gallery. Like, you'd have if you could sell £200 worth here, that would probably have to get rid of like a Rice or a Pickford or both. You could end up getting like probably £700 to get together. Is that enough then for a rare in-season team next year? Like a really good one? I still probably don't think so. If we're talking like, if they'd have a good goalie, it's probably going to be £300-400 on its own. So yeah, I definitely think stay at limited and just really go for like a decent teams collection and go in for in the season is basically how I would look at that. Yeah. Ian says, yeah, I'm working on it and I have a budget, but under 23 it's hard not knowing where people are playing. No, I get that, Ian. You're preaching to the choir there. Yeah, it is tough, especially with aging out. Like, it's really hard to get. Not only do they need to play next year, obviously, and score well, they need to not be 24, or out of the under 23 category age-wise. So yeah, no, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. And to do that then on a budget makes it even harder. So yeah, I get it. You do have to be quite savvy with the scouting. We'll definitely get some in the Discord. I think we'll do a little under 23, like some of the players that you've already brought to me, but maybe like a decent watch list of players that I think, or we think maybe collectively, could be of interest, could be decent next year for a fraction of the price of some of the big boys. So I'll definitely get a little WhatsApp, a watch list together of that. But yeah, Tangleberry, I hope that makes sense to you. I definitely keep the buying boys, like I said. I definitely go in and target an in-season collection when the cards come out at limited. It depends how much you want to play Euros and stuff, because you can get a really good price for your Pickford and Rice and whoever, England boys outside of Kane. And then these fringe players like the Leeds boys, I'm guessing you're a Leeds fan, which is commiserations from Sunday, of course. But like, yeah, if you want to keep hold of them for sentimental value or whatever, be my guest. Like, I wouldn't tell you not to do that. I think £500 is probably more than enough to go get like a decent collection for next year. Depending on that, that team, that region. I'm gonna guess it's champ, but yeah, I think you're in a good position there, mate. And at the end of the day, like, this all comes back to like what Toby said there. I think it rings true on any level. Like, new money is always going to help you, like help you big time in this game, being able to put more in, and not to the point where like it becomes, a detriment to your actual like real life, but like any disposable money that you could afford to spend on this game. It's always better to do that, I think, than like to taking out of what you've already got if you want to like continue rolling over in this game and continue growing. Because if you're diluting it by taking things out and trading really good players, or selling really good players for now, and it gets a bit, I'm not saying I haven't done it, but it does slow you down basically in this game. So yeah. No, I hate Leeds, but pick them up for playoffs for like 60 quid, but we'll get the money back from awards and send them. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough, Tangled. Yeah, if you want to get rid of them, yeah, 100%. So I hope that makes sense, mate. Any other questions, obviously, let me know. Tom, what's going on, mate? I know you're in here. I hope you're still in here. If you're not, that's all good. So Tom wants to keep expanding his MLS rare collection to play both classic and in season, as well as cap modes where possible. Like it. I love that. I think anyone looking to play, I think like cap modes obviously go out. Cap 240 goes out in August. Like, playing it between now and then, I think's vital, I would say, for like gallery purposes of like growing for next year and building up a balance over the summer. Obviously, it costs to buy cards, but I'd like to think, over this summer period, if you can get things right, that doesn't necessarily mean having to go for the middle threshold every time at rare level or limited. It could even just be picking up the 15 the $15. I know Jonathan does that with his Nashville collection quite often, and they add up over a month. If you're playing them, like sometimes you have two fixtures in, over a week, over 2 game weeks, and so yeah, that's $30 there, right? So yeah, I think if you're not playing 240 over the summer in any capacity, I think it's not stupid, but I do think it's questionable knowing that like it's going, But if you don't play the summer at all, then I kind of get it. But if you play in the summer, you've got to be playing 240 in some capacity. Chonier in season 6. Oh wow, I didn't mean that. Yeah, that's cheap. That's really cheap for in season Chonier. Okay, so let me just carry on with what you said. Whilst also having some limited strength for the Euros, so a bit of fun in that comp as well. Makes sense. We'll plan for the next European season when we see transfers occur. Makes sense. I guess as always, question is, where do you feel my rares are at, and do they need more depth? And also whether you feel I should be given a bit more time to see if I can win and maybe reinvest, put some money into strengthen beforehand. I guess there's always question where you feel my rares need more depth, and also whether you feel I should give it a bit of time to see if I can win. Yeah, okay. So as far as rares go, let me just go by challengers. And let me just go by rare. Okie dokie. Floor, height alone. So, Puig, essential. Like, I'm me not having him is a big detriment, I think, to my MLS hopes. But, yeah, he's a staple. I think you've got a really good midfielder base there. It doesn't really get much better, in my opinion. Obviously, Acosta's a little bit better, in my opinion. But if we're talking U23 stuff as well, yeah, Puig's fucking up there, isn't he? Matt Freese has been exceptional. So you've got 3 good goalies there, if we're being honest. Pice, Dane Sinclair, and Matt Freese. I know Dane Sinclair goes away with the Canadian team, I think, as well. So that's a bit of an interesting one. I think Pice goes away with Indonesia potentially. Misses a few games, but Freese is obviously locked in. Really good year. So I mean, goalkeeper wise, I think you've got enough there to see you through, every game week. There should be a nice green score coming from somewhere. It's obviously just getting it right in the right lineup, which again isn't easy. Rossi, you've probably got him at a good time in that, like, he's now really finding form. So you've got a really good forward there, really good mid. I'm happy with those goalkeepers. I think they're all you just have to look at the L15s, all above 50, right? I think I own 3 MLS keepers and they're all below 50. So it just tells you how my goalkeepers are doing right now. Santi's been amazing. Another really good mid option. You've got Steve Clark as well. So when he comes back from his facial injury, I think that'll be a nice one to have. So 4 goalkeepers, mate. You've really stacked it, I would say. Defenders, we've got Brooks Lennon. Obviously hasn't been amazing, has he? Obviously Atlanta haven't been good at all, really. Orellano did really well last game. He's obviously not a forward in that, like, he's not a striker. But, like, obviously we've seen he scored a brace. Like, he can score goals from left wing back. Edelman, your man, nice. David Taylor, DJ Taylor, Chonier. So, obviously there's a bit of a fall off. I mean, really. Tillman's still really good. Gomez. Like, if we mix it up by, like, that's the issue with it's defenders, right? Like, defenders are really tough to get in the MLS to score well. I know you've mentioned that in one of the Discord channels over the last week or so. Like, it is tough. Like, I know Lennon's L15 is really good, but he hasn't really been performing, has he? Well, just Atlanta haven't, so subsequently he doesn't. So yeah, defenders is always it's just hard. Like, the only thing you can improve on there is to get a Wagner. Like, if we're being honest, like Wagner or Tolkien. I think we mentioned that in the thing, but those are 2 defenders I would say, like, just keep an eye on, basically. Mids, if we're talking, like, you're playing 3 teams, Puig, Rodriguez, Tillman, and then you've got, like, Chonier, who are, like, in that like, not in that caliber, but probably just below. Edelman on his day. Rosales is pretty decent. So you've got 6 mids there. I mean, if I'm being really picky, and if we're playing, like, multiple lineups a game week, I definitely say add in another mid in there. I think someone like Rusnak, I know I'm biased, I own a couple of him, but, like, I haven't really got going yet, to be honest, and maybe they don't, but if anyone's going to get going, it's probably him, realistically. Rossi, Orellano, Gomez. Like, if I'm being really, I don't think they are good. They're a good 3. I do think you're missing, like, a proper number 9 though, if that makes sense, like a Benteke or a whoever, insert an actual number 9. all of these are like, they're fine. Like, it doesn't really matter because they're all just forward, like, on a card. But, like, you just know, like, Orellano, you can't go into a game thinking Orellano's going to score today. Whereas, like, if you got DC at home to fucking whoever, you know, you're going into the game thinking, okay, Benteke has got a good chance of scoring a goal here most of the time. He might not, but, like, you just know the chances of him scoring a goal is just way higher than an Orellano because he just plays in a tougher position. You know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't, like, Rossi's maybe the exception. Gomez more of a winger. Like, his DAs have been great, this Gomez. Like, he's done really well, actually. But, like, I do think we're missing, like, a proper 9 there for whatever reason. I'd say one more forward if we really want to juice out as much as we can of the summer. One more forward. I'd say one more, like, mid-tier mid, like a Rusnak or somebody around that range. And then, like, a Tolkien. Or, you know, if we're really pushing the boat out, a Wagner, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I'm looking at that. Ooh, new announcement called Card Factory. Burn system sounds awful. Ooh, should we have a little look? Yeah, I think we are basically done on yours anyway, Tom. But yeah, any other questions, obviously let me know. Johnny, what do you mean? Hope I don't mind. Hope I don't mind what? Here we go. Get ready, managers. A new item is being added. The ultimate Sorare secret and most coveted power is about to be yours. The ability to craft Sorare cards. Our brilliant sports scientists have cracked a top secret fusion process, turning your fantasy sports performance into liquid essence. Right. Unveil your card factory, a state-of-the-art lab where your top performing managers can craft in-season players for their collection. Your progress rewarded thanks to Essence. Reward boxes become more exciting. Collect enough Essence across multiple weeks to craft new player cards in your card factory. Interesting. What do we think? Yeah, we'll have a little look at your limiteds now, Tom. If you want background number 9. Kubasaki. I don't want to hear that, mate. We can't have that sort of background chat. Sorry, didn't even check problems. Yeah, what do we think about this card sort of factory thing? Is there like a rundown of this in like a... Ah, here we go. Here we go. With the groundbreaking site, yeah, blah, 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 wherever. It's coming to MLB and NBA. What is Card Factory? Blah, blah, blah. How is it scientifically possible? Without delving into the intricate details of fusion power, blah, 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 blah. I'm not listening to all that. How does the factory operate? Oh, here we go. Does this help? I think we've already seen this, haven't we? Managers who win essence capsules, in reward boxes on Sorare Rivals and Sorare Pro collect enough essence across multiple game weeks, and your progress will be rewarded. The higher the division, okay. The more you progress, the better the rewards. With enough essence, based on this recipe, you can craft a card with specific essence milestones, each offering a guaranteed card with varying probabilities of a specific card tier. The likelihood of crafting a higher tier card increases as you collect more essence. For example, if you collect enough essence for the highest milestone. So this is basically like a progress bar, right? Is this Pokemon Gold we breed in? Love that. Just catching up. So we're turning into the Witcher game. So I make classic Eric Gussie into an in-season if I win much with him. I don't know. There's more. I was all for the training camps. Okay, organizing your card factory will be simple. Essence is categorized by scarcity and is not tiered to specific competitions. Please note that this does not affect our reward supply. We are reallocating the cat. Scooter, can you not, please? Cat's trying to escape. He's by the door. Cat's been an absolute nuisance. Okay. Please note that this doesn't... we are reallocating some of the card rewards given out through reward boxes as well as part of the prize pools of some competitions. Right. So reward boxes are being nerfed somewhat, as far as like the cards you're able to win out of them. You can expect more details on Essence and your card factory soon. Before the 2 special international competitions start, we will share with you the odds of winning Essence capsules in each reward box, the quantities you can win, and how many are needed to unlock a card at each milestone. Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. What's everyone saying? I mean, I like the fact that they're expanding the reward boxes in that, like, you know, you can win different things in them. Right now, they're a bit stale, aren't they? Okay, that's fine. I don't mind it. More stuff in boxes. Right, Toby, yeah, I agree. If it replaces some cards in rewards, then that's quite bad. But if it's just an addition... Right, but Kubasaki, there's only 100 rare cards every year of a card. Like, you can't just add more cards from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, the supply is fixed. So, like it says, they will take from, reward box card wins and, like some of the card rewards offered in just prize pools in general. Basically, the progress bar, exactly. I might tweet that. I did say that earlier, so I'm not stealing your. What do we think? Is the all caps too much? All caps is probably too much, but I've done it now. There's no going back. The cap mode and all-star awards will have to be redistributed. Yeah, fair. Yeah, I understand that, but for example, in limited, they only get like 600 to 1,000. Right, yeah. When I said 100, I didn't mean they give out 100. I just mean like there's 100 just in general between giving out, you know, everything. Auction or whatever. But yeah. Yeah, it is, but like getting closer to the 100 of each player because they end up giving away 80 a year. Nah, that's not right, Ian. They won't give out 80 a year. I think I'd rather win this Essence than a tier 5, to be honest, and build towards a tier 1 or star. Yeah, that's probably the new contemplation, isn't it? It's like, yeah, what would you rather do? Yeah, win a tier 5 or have an Essence. Yeah, no, it makes sense, Bumsy. Okay, back to Tom's gallery, sorry. So we need to look at limiteds now. Not rares and limiteds. You've still got loads of limiteds, to be fair, haven't you? So, as well as cut modes, whilst having some... So yeah, just looking at the depths. Just in general. What we got? Pickford, Sommer, Neuer, Scholter, Kovar, Kalina, Flecken. Got lots of keepers. Lots of starting keepers, which cannot be a bad thing. I don't think your goalkeepers really need much work. Bastoni, Guardiola, DeMarco, Pavard. Okay, lots of Serie A, which is fun, especially for defenders. Like, you want defensive stacks from Serie A most of the time. If we're talking champs, Delict, Walker, Dumfries, Stones. Where's this guy been playing, by the way? Is this the one that's just moved to United, or the other way around? Wasn't there like a Benfica player that's just moved from Benfica to United, or from United to Benfica, wasn't it? I can't remember what. I'm pretty sure they've signed for Benfica, but I could be wrong. Rodon, Lennon. You've got lots of champ depth. I wouldn't really worry too much about adding to your limiteds. I think focusing on rares is probably where it's at. I mean, your mids are absolutely stacked. Like, there's just nothing needs to be done there, I don't think. Big Harry Wilson in there. Love that. Kane, Musiala, Dovbike, Trossard, Euros, nice. Matson, fun. Cunha. Yeah, you've even got a few that could kind of come good as well. Kane, Musiala. I mean, yeah, Kane, Musiala, Trossard. Depends on how many teams you're looking to play, but you could argue, I don't know, maybe you could argue another European forward of some sort, potentially. If we're being really picky, from Benfica to Benfica from United, Tobias says, yeah. Gary says, new story update. Yeah, we just went through them. João Neto, what's going on, mate? What a name, by the way. More variety in reward boxes is good. I agree, Matt. I definitely agree with you there. Change his surname from Fernandez to Caceres. Interesting. He just signed this week. Yeah. He should have played for United. Yeah, he probably should have. Okay. Tom, I hope that all makes sense, mate. Next, we've got Mohammed. So, for now, my focus is Euro Copa America. Picked up an AC Milan, PSG, and half of Liverpool collections for the Euros and also for the August change. Gonna pick up a couple more teams from top 3 in each league to cover all my bases for August transition. Goal is to pick up as much cash and don't know where to go from there. Some game weeks I'm in top 10, 20. In a couple of game weeks, nowhere near a reward. Don't know what to do to learn from my mistakes. Any advice appreciated. Thanks, Harry. Yeah, Mohammed, I mean, as far as that, some game weeks you're in the top 10 to 20, some you're not. Like, I think that just comes with the nature of playing the game, but in more detail, limited. Like, there's so many good lineups every game week, or potential good lineups. And like you said, sometimes you are going to get into that top 10 to 20% if you own, most of the good cards, which you do at limited. And most of the really good collections and bonuses and all that fun stuff. Like, as you can see, Mohammed has some incredible limited cards. Definitely Champ Europe. I mean, you've got them all across the board, to be honest, but I think that's just the nature of Sorare. Like, I don't think you can win when I say win, I don't think you can get into the top 10 to 20 places in limited every week. Like, I don't think that should be the expectation, if I'm being completely honest. Like, there's just so much variance in this game that the margins are so fine. Like, sometimes you're a double away, sometimes you're a DMP away of, 4 players have scored all hundreds each, and you just need 1 player to play, and he doesn't. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong for you to not get that top 10 to 20% that's out of your control most of the time. Like, I don't think that should be the expectation in that sense. Despite having the best cards, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to finish in the best places every week. That's just football. Like, it's just not possible. You can put yourself in the top maybe 1,000 every game. We got top 500 maybe with a good level of certainty, but top 10 to 20 is such a small percentage of how many players are playing limited and will be playing next year. I don't think you can be too hard on yourself there, if I'm being honest. So yeah, that's kind of what I think about that. No worries at all, Tom. No worries at all, mate. And then the rest of things. So, am I going? No. I know you also sent me a private message, didn't you? So you have a certain amount of money you want to put into Sorare. I'm just reading your message, by the way. So yeah, it's a tough one, more honestly, because I know you don't want me to disclose the amount that you're looking to put in. I think what I'm going to do with you, Mo, is I'm just going to give you like a sort of like a voice note, basically on Discord, like to you personally, because then that means I'm not obviously disclosing the amount you want to put in, and I think it just makes a little bit more sense. So I'm going to do that for you outside of what I've already just said, which is quite generic as advice goes, but I do think I want to do that for you, to be honest, mate. So yeah, as far as how much you want to put in and my thoughts on what you wanted, what you should kind of do with that, or my thoughts on that type of thing. So let me do that off stream. I'll do that on Discord for you later on today, and just give you a little debrief of what I kind of think you should do with that type of money. And so yeah, that kind of clears it up for me there. So we'll skip on to Port Hill Shrew, who is one of our newer members. I'm not lineup building right now. That's Thursday. Okay. By August, I want to have quality depth at Champ, Europe, and Challenger at both limited and rare level. I lost my way a bit after last World Cup, so didn't play for quite a few months after, but I am fully back now. Where are my gaps? Where should I be focusing on to become better? I'm looking at coming fully out of Super Rare and also getting out of Asia, although I will keep Kosatani's card. Fun. Nice card. I will have 1,000 to 1,500 in about 3 weeks to put in. Do I put in where ETH goes lower, or put in now and keep some aside for in-season cards? So as far as like trying to bet where ETH's going, that is out of my realm. I'm not really good at that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, you could I don't know if you're holding ETH. If you're not holding ETH, you can obviously just put cash in, and that won't fluctuate. But I don't know what you're actually gonna do as far as ETH or cash. I'm sure you could tell me, but yeah. So that'll kind of depend on that. Sure, what's going on, mate? I'm here, but works to partly listen. That's all good, mate. So you want quality depth at Champ Europe / Challenger in both scarcity. So let me just go by. Let's just do rare first, because I'm going to guess that's. Well, actually, no. Before we do that, I did see. Didn't you get rid of some super rares? I'm pretty sure I remember you putting in a trade. So you still have a couple left. Jack Price, Axel Witsel. Okay, so nothing of like crazy. Delafeu. What's happened to Delafeu, by the way? Okay, so you've got a decent amount of supers, but like you said, yeah, you probably want to get out of them just because I can't see them holding up too much value, if any, to be honest. This Pellet Clement seems okay, but obviously Axel Witsel maybe. But yeah, the rest of them might be quite tough to shift / yeah, I don't know, maybe that you need to paddle them or whatever. I don't know how to really get rid of them. Isn't Delafeu just injured? It feels like it, doesn't it? But I swear something was wrong. I thought something was wrong with him or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up. But okay, so that's the super rares. If we're looking to improve rares, then this is what we got going. So Kovar, Kaminsky's going to be champion. Is Perrin going to start next year? Kaminsky's going to be challenger, sorry. If he stays at Luton, obviously. Matt Turner. So we obviously need a goalkeeper then. Realistically, if Kovar isn't number one next season. So, you definitely need a champ keeper, if we're being honest. Defenders. Gusto Botman, when he's back fit, could be decent, to be fair. Gusto Odilion, Robin Koch. I mean, it's fine. There's definitely improvements to be made. One being, obviously, the goalkeeper first, I would say. If we don't know Kovar and all those players, if we know none of those keepers are going to start / be in champ, referring to Kaminsky, there's definitely a need to really improve those goalkeepers and defenders. Midfielders, obviously Lavia injured. Paulinus can be good on his day, but I do think we're missing again a really good mid. Forwards, Brozier, Al Schmidt, and Jacob Ron Larson, who I guess if he stays with Burnley, he'll be a challenger as well. So if you want better, you're going to need a good team's worth of champion cards there, if I'm being honest. I think every position needs, relatively improving, which I'm sure you're aware of. But yeah, that kind of, sort of quite self-explanatory, that one. Pickford, Mayeki, Nubel. Yeah, you're fine for goalkeepers here at limited. Defenders, Trench, Schlotterbeck, Vardiel, Robertson, Van der Ven, Branthwaite. Yeah, again, I'd say you're pretty set. Oh, nice. Riyadh. Chao Henrique, really nice card to have for next season, I think. Defenders do look fine. Palmer, Rice, Mino, wow. McAllister, Soboslai, Gallagher, Elliott, Aliesh, Zakarian, nice. Musa, big Vinicius. I'd say you're relatively, depending on how Soboslai gets on next year, I'd say you're pretty set for mids as well. I'm not seeing too many holes. Forwards, you look really, really strong. Really strong, actually, at forward. Almost way stronger than mids. Not way stronger, but definitely stronger than mids to a degree. Like, you take out Rice, Palmer, then it doesn't look as good, obviously. Where here, you've got like a really nice top row of cards. Obviously, Nunes hasn't been great, but he's always good for a goal somewhere. And then even like Madueke, and Ciso, Sancho, like there's still good cards on your second tier. So I think Champ Limited doesn't really need much doing to it. I definitely say, Rare needs a lot of work. What's this? Do you think Alex Garcia? It depends. Obviously, it might be tough knowing if he's going to play is the first issue, and that's the biggest issue on Sorare as far as knowing when players play football. We've seen it this season with Palacios a lot. Obviously, when he plays, he fucking smashes, but you just don't know when he's going to play. So yeah, I think as long as Garcia has some sort of set piece role, which might be tough when you've obviously got Wirtz there. But let's just argue he does. I think he'll probably score better. Like, bar in the last 4 games, he hasn't scored that well for Girona since, like, the start of the season, really. So, I think they improve. I think he'll be on the ball all the time, final third passes and all that fun stuff. It's just knowing if he's going to play. Like, if they sell Palacios, then you kind of know that Garcia's just going to slot in, next to Xhaka or whatever. And, I don't know. I know they like Andrich as well. There's lots of competition there, where right now at Garcia, he is just locked in, which for Sorare purposes is great. Does that mean it's great because he's going to play, but he hasn't really been scoring that well? Whereas if he moves to Leverkusen, I do think his average would increase. By how much, I don't know, but I do think he would score better. It's more the worry of, like, is he going to play? That's the issue for me. Jonathan says, just seen the new update. Sorare becoming too complex to onboard new players. Maybe. It's always been complicated, though. Like, I think Sorare in itself, like, people who play Sorare aren't looking for, like, an easy game to play. Do you get what I'm saying? That's kind of how it feels. Keeping price as he is now at Shrewsbury. Traded 4. Super as yesterday. Is he a Shrewsbury in what league is Shrewsbury in? Surely they're League 1, no? Or did they get? They didn't get promoted to champ. Surely not. Gianetto says, I've been playing Sorare for under a year and I feel like it's tougher now to explain my friends than then. Maybe, but if you were talking to your friends now, the entry point for them would be Rivals, right? Like, you wouldn't necessarily start talking to them about Sorare Pro straight away if they're talking about, like, onboarding. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're League 1, like Alex said. What? Why would Price... Yeah, I thought they'd be League 1. I was going to say I didn't think they were champ. But yeah, as far as having 1,000, I know we haven't done challenges yet, have we? Do challenges. But yeah, as far as having that sort of money to go in, I would wait. I would wait probably for new season cards, I think. And as far as I can't judge the ETH price. I don't really know the ins and outs of that, to be honest. Okay, goalkeepers in challenges. Obviously, if Cook leaves Mechelen, then I don't know if Thoyland stays. Wellenreuther, obviously, if Bilo stays. So, again, we're looking at, like, not a guaranteed starting keeper there in challenges. So, that would need improving. Defence looks fine. Darlin might be staying at Circle of Bruges, by the way, which might be quite fun. I'd say defence is fine. Quite a few nice Danish cards in there. Midfielders, wow, Luciano, lovely one. Lewis Morgan, lovely. Desart, yeah, you've got a nice Yari, Shufs. Fine for mids. I'd say defenders, goalkeepers right now is definitely the priority. Storm, maybe, if he comes back. Jaden Braff, wow, what a throwback. Yeah, Dan Roth, probably Griffin Yao. Depends on what happens, but I'd definitely say goalkeepers and forwards, if anything, for challenges. As far as on what you need to improve. He's a Shrewsbury fan. Fair enough. Yeah, League 1, just wanted his card, got a cheap few weeks ago to go with my Joe Hart. Fair enough, I get that, sure. Yeah, obviously you're a Shrewsbury fan. I was thinking, like, does he have utility, this Jack Price? And obviously not, but, like, nice collectibles, Alex says. Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that. Big Joe Hart. Okay. And then for limited, wow, Leo Jardim, nice. Lots of MLS. You obviously got loads of Laysons. I think goalkeepers, you're fine. I think you've sold a couple of Laysons, haven't you? You must have. You had way more than that before. Defenders, nice little Brazil contingency. Silva, Wrench. This Kiriani Sab kid, or Sabe or whatever, he's really good. He's going to be a very, very good player. Mark McKenzie, Proper, Geordie. Have I done this? Or am I being stupid? No, we haven't done this yet, have we? Lucho, MDC, Big Hands, Zaydu, my boy, finished really strong. I do miss my Zaydu unique card, lads. I do. I think about it most nights. What a boy! What an absolute man. Joking, I don't think about it, but yeah, he's done really well, hasn't he? Szymanski, Sarah, you look pretty set for mids as well. Shuvs, mids are fine. I definitely think it's rares where you really need to improve. Ueda might be fun next season. Brobby fun. Nusa if he moves. Amura, he might be moving as well actually. Damrot, Ruta. Well, at least Ruta's in the champ still. Sanjay Hansen, Bassett, good player. Zion, Marabi. Yeah, you're fine. I'd say you're fine for all the Challenger Limiteds. It's just definitely rares, mate, is where I'd be, concentrating energy. Ian says having Lucho or Messi in Challengers actually a cheat code. I know. It really is. So yeah, hope that helps, mate. We are going to move on to Die Rich 05. So continue building his rare gallery to play across all 3 divisions. So that would be champion, challengers, and contenders. And then with August in mind, where would you add to my challengers and contenders? Champion gallery is still a way off. Slowly adding to this as a priority. Hoping to have Kaminsky as a starting goalkeeper for challengers, with Vasilj being a starting champ keeper. Okay, let's just have a look up by section what we've got going on. So let's start with challengers. So obviously you said, hoping for Kaminsky. Well, Kaminsky should be challengers next season. So yeah, that'd be the only European challengers goalkeeper you'd have, unless you obviously had another one. Connor Roberts, it depends. Obviously back to Burnley, could be quite fun for him. I'd definitely say if that doesn't come off, you're going to need another European one. If we're looking at what we've got there, I know MLS will go through. Brooks, if he signs for Southampton, then you'll have a Prem card there, Champ card. So keep an eye on that. Jean Mario, I don't know what's going to go on with him. I mean, you've got good MLS mids for sure, which will see you through a little bit. But if you're talking when that finishes, you're going to need another probably 1 or 2 European mids, if we're being brutally honest. Isaac Davis probably back to Cardiff. Probably, I know you're not going to know more than me about that one because of your close ties to that one, shall we say? But yeah, Kiefer Moore, Dan James, hopefully still at Leeds. So yeah, you're probably okay for forwards, but I'd definitely say a couple of mids, couple of defenders, like European-wise, wouldn't go amiss to go with Kaminsky. And then for contender, so just catching up with the chat. No worries at all, Shrew. No worries at all, mate. Okay, so Vasilj is probably going to champ. So we're looking at Liam Kelly as our goalkeeper, sorry. You've obviously got Paul McGinn to go with that. Gartman if he stays at Aberdeen. So got two defenders there for saying they both stay. Spittle probably moves to Hart, so you got another one. Monchu moves to champ. Luke McCowan signed a decent deal. So yeah, you got 1, 2. Serrano hopefully back from injury. You're probably fine for mids, I would say. I don't think you probably need to do much there. And depending on where Miovski goes, obviously, hopefully he stays in contenders, but you could definitely easily move. I'd say, yeah, potentially, I don't know, yeah, probably a defender, if we're being honest. Maybe one more defender to give you a bit of an option to go, alongside Liam Kelly as the keeper. Obviously, like we said, Vasilj probably goes to champion. Can definitely have a look at what you've got at champion. Obviously, Kaminsky will be challenger. Vasilj will be champ. And then, like you said, this is a work in progress. But yeah, Ben Davis, Nico Williams, if he gets the starting spot again, there's definitely probably a starting defender there. Ward Prowse, Ericsson, interesting. Brownhill relegated. Curtis Jones, nice one. Ivan Martin, Harry Wilson, Alfie Doherty. Yeah, I wonder what happens with Alfie Doherty. It's an interesting one. And then forward, you've got Brennan. So Obviously, depth-wise, you're going to want more forwards, but yeah, you've at least the one you got is probably a a really nice start in keeper. So yeah, your champ's not miles off it, but it would take a bit of improving, definitely at the defender area. No, I think you're in a good little position, Dave. To be honest, there's only a couple of pieces in each region if we're talking rares that you need to really concentrate on. I would say so. No, I think you're looking pretty good, mate. Looking pretty good. Miovski's L15 is so low considering. I know. To be fair, he has gone off the boil a little bit. Shaforkal just sent me a message. Let me just reply to him. I'm telling him he's an hour and 18 minutes late. Okay. Back to this. Okay, so next up is Alex Coombs. I'm gonna have a little, not break, but yeah, kind of a break, and see what's going on over on Sorare Twitter. What's people saying about this? Motion creative team is on fire. This looks dope. Let me turn that off. That's annoying me. Yeah, let's see what the general consensus is, if there's any. Actually, we'll do that on a different day. I can't be bothered now. Weren't it going on? What? Fucking Timo Bunsen burner. I just can't see a world where anyone rates him. To be honest, I just don't get it. I know he's rapid, but Jesus, man, there's more to football than that, surely. Guy can't trap a bag of cement. I just don't rate him at all. And I borderline can't respect your your footballing views if you rate him. Oh, something just fell. Okay. Nearly just destroyed my my setup. I'm only joking by that because I know I was only a subtle dig at Quinny because I know Quinny loves him. I'm only messing Quinny. He was so good in RBL too. Obviously, still misses chances, but he created so much. Yeah, it's an easier. It's Farmers League though, isn't it? Like a bit of pace in that league just goes a long way, I think. Whereas in the Prem, everyone's quick, so it's just like you're just on a level playing field. If you're not technically good as well, it kind of just goes nil and void for me, or like gets cancelled out a little bit. But no, he was class at Leipzig, to be fair, wasn't he? When he broke through, yeah, he was electric when he first broke through. I'll give you that. He really was. Just looking at my lineup stuff come through on story data. I'm really hoping Novak Mikovic for LA Galaxy gets a start midweek. I don't think he does, but you just never know. I'm hoping I've got him in an under 23 team. Cancelled. I'm done. Cancel the stream. People buying and selling turbo. That's class. Can't do that. Is the best way to describe it. I wish I could put that on the screen somehow. I can if I was using my other streaming software, but I can't on Streamlabs. But that is funny. Simon, what's going on, mate? Just finished the shift in work. Right in time to see my gallery review. Yeah, Si, you're coming up pretty soon, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7th. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We've got 16 left. We've done pretty well, haven't we? Hour and 20 in, but we didn't really start straight away. So I think we're making good time. We're not taking the piss in any way as far as taking too long. But anyway, Alex Coombs up next then. But yeah, Kennedy, what's going on, mate? I've not spelt Alex right, which is a concern. That's so funny. Turbo Timo is like way to launder money. Okay, we are not lineup building. So, main priority comp under 23 with multi-entry. Love it, Al. Classic, champ, and contender classic in August. How much depth do I need to add to under 23 to compete? Sounds good, mate. I love that question. What a brilliant question. Love it. Absolutely bloody love it. Okay, let's see what we've got then. Jorgensen, nice. Leroy Man. Does he stay under 23? I think he does, doesn't he? Is he 20? Yeah, he's 23. Yeah, you're fine there. And Magic. Oh, no, he'll age out, I think. Maybe I've made that up. I think he ages. Yeah, he ages out. So you got 2 keepers. I know Schulte, you could argue another one as well. So 3 if we're talking when the MLS still plays. But we got 2 Europeans. So you're probably fine enough for goalkeepers for now. I wouldn't say you need to add that 3rd European yet. Beavers to get the nod this week. Yeah, he might, sorry, I think. Mikovic could start at the weekend, Harry. Last time they had 3 games in a week, Mikovic got the 3rd. Interesting. I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I would take that all day long. I paid like 37 quid for him, like an hour or 2 before LA Galaxy played this weekend on Saturday night on auction. And then, obviously, lineups came out and he wasn't starting. So I was like, fine, whatever. And then, like, literally an hour later, I had an offer of like £50 for him. And I was like, no. And then I looked. McCarthy made an error led to goal, didn't he? And then I saw on the instant buy that somebody paid like 67, like 80 quid for Mikovic on instant buy. So he'd like doubled in price just because McCarthy made that error led to goal, which it doesn't seem like it's going to derail his number 1 spot. It seems like the gaffer wants to keep him as number 1. So whatever. But yeah, no. Hopefully he comes into the fold at some point. Drake says Chelsea signed that Leicester manager because they feel like he was willing just to be a head coach and nothing else. That's why they sacked Poch. Yeah, Poch probably wanted a bit more control, I guess. McMath is useless right now. Okay, defenders. I'm not going to ignore the MLS cards, but you know I'm mainly looking at European cards here, to be honest. So Rensch, Pacheco, Cochran, Loco, O'Brien, Gutierrez, Van Heck's going to age out, Lamptey, Garcia. You've probably got enough, but I would say, you know, adding 1 or 2 wouldn't go amiss. The more the merrier, especially for defenders. Midfielders, so we've got what? I'm doing it by newest to old. It needs to be floor high to low. Foden ages out. We've got Simons, Suzuki, depending on where he moves. Gibbs White ages out. Yeah, Curtis Jones, Syweld, Joe Gomez. Scott Twiner ages out. I'd say you do probably need another mid or 2. I know the MLS boys will get you through it, but when like they end, I definitely think looking to pick up a mid or 2 will definitely need to be done. Sesko, Rodrigo, Teke Kubo, lovely. Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think he ages out. I said this earlier, didn't I? But maybe he doesn't. No, I think he got 1 more year. Okay, so you got 4 strikers there. Yeah, again, I know you've got K-League striker as well. You're probably fine for strikers, actually. I'd say a European mid when MLS ends, and definitely just a couple of defenders to fill in there. If we're saying that, you know, you've got enough keepers, I don't think you're a million miles off it. Obviously, there's always improvements to be made, but like you are able to put out, you know, three-ish decent teams there on a weekly basis. Like I said, the more the merrier. If we're talking, you know, more players, preferably on decent teams that, you know, when you see them in your lineup builder, you want to play them when they play at home, you know, or even away as well. But you know what I mean? Like every other game week, they're probably going to be at home. And so, yeah, you want as many of them as possible, realistically, to choose from, especially if we're talking 3 lineups. So I don't think you're a million miles off it, Al, to be honest. I think you've, you're in a good position for sure. Scotland versus Gibraltar this weekend. Jesus. Is it definitely, like, is it covered, Sorare Joel? Kennedy, from what I've seen on Twitter from Galaxy sources, Mitrovic is undoubtedly the long-term answer. Just a matter of when the coach is. Yeah, I think he's ready. Fair enough. Have you seen the new Essence announcement? Yeah, we did have a look at that, Bob, about 20 minutes ago, to be fair. We had a little read through it for 5 minutes. Yeah, it looks interesting. I mean, I'm all for more variants and, you know, different things in boxes. I'm pretty happy with how that looks, because I think boxes is like the way forward, especially from like a content standpoint. I know that doesn't relate to everyone as far as like you're not going to care if you don't make content, but like I think from a content standpoint, just having other things in those fucking boxes is just a cool thing. Knowing that I could open, you know, X amount of these boxes and get just random thing, not random, but, you know, a variance of different things. So yeah, I love them. And I think even from a normal's perspective, like a normal non-content creator player of Sorare, I think it can only add to the excitement. Not official, but Scotland was on the friendly list. Yeah, you're right, it was, wasn't it? We'll see. Cheers, Harry. Hoping the MLS boys can give me some nice rewards over the summer. Yeah, I think you're fine for MLS. You've got. I'd argue your MLS under 23s are probably better than your European ones. So yeah, hopefully they can. That's been my tactic over the last couple of years. Is during the summers try and pick up a few wins in under 23 and hopefully win like good European cards. I did it with Zaya Emery, I think last summer. So you can get by sometimes doing that, especially on those under 23 weeks that are a little bit easier to win in during the summer. So I think you're on the right track, Al. Honestly, I'm really excited for you for the multi-entry. Okay, Motordays is up next. Fitzball season, Bonesy says. Okay. Main goal is playing and winning rewards in rare champ comps. We'll be picking up a Unai Simon and a Nico Williams for Euros, and will help in champs, of course. Any areas you feel like I should focus on first and where to go next, and areas my gallery can improve. Thank you, sir. No worries at all, mate. Okay. So, champ focus gallery, which is always nice to delve into, I guess. Quite an easy, not easy, but you kind of know what you're getting. So, like you said, you want to buy Unai Simon, so you've already got him. Motordays. You've already got him. When did you pick him up? I'm guessing over the last day or so, no? Oh, today. Is it 28th? Yeah, you picked him up today. Go on, mate. 380 quid. Nice, mate. So you got Unai Simon, Zetner, who plays for Mainz, Nubel. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keepers, mainly Bundesliga, but obviously Unai Simon in there as well. Okay, nice. Defenders, let's go from floor highest to low. Mittelstadt, great. Branthwaite, Sepp van der Berg, Tilo Kerr. I can't believe I got rid of my super rare of him. His L5 is 79. Are you actually fucking with me? Ah, that's killed me. I got rid of my super rare start of this season because I was just like, well, one, I'm not going to use him, and two, he's just rubbish. It was like literally as he just moved, I think, like around this area. I might have used him for like a game or two because his L15 was really low, and then he's just gone on an absolute heater the last... Oh, I don't want to look at that. That's hard to look at. Anyway, Anton Walderman. Okay, so if you're looking at multiple teams, you're probably you have got really good defenders, but I would argue you're probably gonna need to add a few more to that. If we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you got 6, you're probably gonna need 8, maybe even more. If we're talking like putting out multiple champ teams, if you've got 5 goalkeepers, you're probably gonna want to play 5 teams. There's no cap modes or anything going next season, so I think you'd want 10 defenders, I would say personally. So adding 4 to that is probably the goal, I would argue. Mid, so we got Bruno, Amiri, Forich, Barrero going to Challengers. He's going to Benfica. Milot, Barkley probably goes to Villa, potentially. Again, you're probably going to need maybe 1 or 2 more mids. I'd say 4 defenders, 2 mids so far. And when I say 2 mids, I mean like 2 very decent mids. Tobias says Dalot could be decent next season, not like United can get any worse. Yeah, I probably agree with you there. Middle stat for how much? Great point. I got him today, thought it was way too cheap. Is that Simon you mean, Motordays? Yeah. I don't know what the price is like. Yeah, what the going rate is for a Unai Simon, but 380 feels good if he's going to be the Spanish number 1 as well over the summer. Okay, so you've got the Nico Williams in, nice. Greenwood, Garnacho, Guirassy, Højlund, Undav. I'd probably argue you might be okay for, like, if we're talking, what would I be doing straight away? It wouldn't be going to get a forward, to be honest. Like, I see you like, I mean, outside of Guirassy and Højlund. Oh, yeah, you got Rashford as well. Yeah, I'd say forwards are fine. I'd say you need 2 mids and definitely 4 defenders, personally, if we're talking like 5 teams next season and having depth and being able to, rotate players in and out and play the matchup. I think 4 defenders and 2 mids at a minimum from what I'm seeing there. 100%. And then if you've got money left over and you are still you're in the market for something, I think adding forwards can never be a bad thing, really, because you need players are scoring goals at the end of the day and getting decisives and in nature, forwards players are just hot and cold, right? So you just got to hope that your players are just hotter, at the right time, if that makes sense. Tilo Kerr was way too cheap. Just read through the Essence update. Thank God they've solved the problem of putting 1 million power-ups in boxes. Love that they're trying new things. Yeah, 100% Kennedy. 100%. So yeah, model days, I hope that all makes sense for you, mate. Any other questions, please do let me know. But I think yours is quite straightforward in that, like, what you need to do is quite easy to, yeah, identify. Dear Egan, I know you popped in earlier, mate. I don't think you're in here now, but that is fine. So he wants to, tempted to invest in a few contender players playing over the summer, such as Mateus Vargas, Leonardo in the Chinese Super League. I mainly want to be in a position come August where I have teams in all limited comps. Contender is the main one, but have a few challenger lineups I like, and also champion now with St. Pauli and Valladolid, hopefully getting promoted. Nice. Do you think it's worth it having newly promoted stacks in champions such as ones above, or would it be more beneficial and competitive to just buy a Leverkusen? Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's quite an easy one, dear Egan, to answer, in that, like, yeah, these stacks that get promoted, you just got to look at, like, real life. How many times is a promoted team that goes from a contender team into a champ team, league-wise, I don't know, second Bundesliga to Bundesliga, like, how many times really do they compete for rewards? Realistically, my answer would be not very often. There's obviously anomalies, and there's certain teams sometimes that just do well. Like in their first season, I've seen not Hoffenheim. Who is it this year in the Bundesliga? Oh, what's not Darmstadt? Heidenheim. I'm pretty sure they've got to Europe, and obviously they got promoted last year. So that and they've had their odd game week this week where they have done well. But if we're talking comparison, nice one, Vice. I finally got it out. I definitely think, yeah, if we're talking either or, like, what would I rather have? St. Pauli and Valladolid stacks going into champion next year, or do you think buying a Barca or Leverkusen stack is more optimal? The obvious answer is Leverkusen or Barca every day of the week. Bonesy said they got the qualifiers. Okay, so they're not qualified for it, the comp, but yeah, definitely got a bit of utility there. So yeah, it depends. If you want to play champ, you're going to need a decent stack, or a decent contingency of players from your likes of Leverkusens and Barca's and stuff to really compete, because Classic next year is going to be a bloodbath, if we're being honest. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. But yeah, obviously if contender is your bread and butter, then long may that continue. I know you've got some really interesting players in that sort of side of the game. Gustavo, Shankland, Fabian Rees, Fitch. You've got all the sort of contender boys that you'd want in there. I didn't even have it by contenders. I saw Jordan Morris there and I was like, that doesn't seem right. Pecky Fernandez, Branthwaite, yeah, obviously Morrow will be a champ card. Yeah, I definitely say if you want to play champ, you're going to need to have an exposure to a half decent team. If we're talking Leverkusen, Barca's, and the likes, definitely. Valladolid boys going up. So like it depends. Like if I'm you, I'd probably try and sell off. I know there might not be much demand from now, but closer to maybe August, potentially trying to sell off a few of those Valladolid. If you've got a sentimental sort of connection to them, then fair enough. Like you've seen them get promoted and stuff, which is great. But if we're talking like wanting to win actual rewards, I don't think that's a viable option really. If we're talking like the bulk of your gallery, if you've got the odd piece, I get it. Like they can fill in, but I don't think you can't rely on them to sort of kick you on next year, to be honest. So yeah, hope that makes sense for you, mate. I know you're not here right now, but when you're watching this back, any more questions, obviously let me know in the Discord. AT Sports, what do you reckon the best lineup for Champions League final? Oh, like for rivals, or you mean like Sorare Pro? Hard to say, to be honest, mate. Jesus, I mean, I'd argue mainly a Real stack, but mate, it's so hard. It's a final, mate. Anything can happen. Like very hard to pick the best 5 cards in that one, or best five players. Really, really tough. So I'm just checking some Discord messages. Well, Andre Blake has had surgery to clean up the meniscus in his knee, out for 4 to 6 weeks. If anyone has an Andre Blake. Courtois, Schlott, Vinny, Jude, Cruz. Yeah, you wouldn't be far off there, Kennedy. Jude revenge game and Cruz last ever Madrid game. Yeah, I'd bet something close to that for sure. So I'm just catching up on a few Discords that I'm in. I can't be bothered reading all that now. Okay, let's go back to gallery reviews. Okay, Drake. I want to continue playing under 23 and Challenger over the summer. Really, don't really have questions other than maybe just a few quick options to add to my under 23/Challenger lineups for the summer. Under 23 definitely needs another goalkeeper other than Brady and probably some forwards because I really only have the Charlotte boys. Okay, let's have a look at what you got. Under 23 wise for the summer, I know obviously like you said it is mainly Brady in goal. Obviously Petrovic is going to age out, but if we're talking summer, then it is basically Brady. Defenders, let's go. João Pedro's been pretty good recently. Obviously Charlotte again. Julian Aude, however you pronounce it. Uade. O'Day, I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah, he's been pretty good. Melander's been good. I'd say your defense is kind of okay. Maybe adding a little Tolkien in there wouldn't go amiss. For the summer mids, we're talking what? Obed Vargas. Brian Gutierrez. Okay. Josh Atencio when he comes back. Yeah, you're not like a million miles off it with mids. I know like you're still up against the Puigs and the Santi Rods until July, so you know it ain't gonna be. You know, you're kind of up against it. Forwards. Vargas times 2, Abada. So yeah, it's kind of like all reliant on Charlotte to do well, which they have been pretty good. But yeah, if you can kind of differentiate a little bit maybe and come out of that, maybe get like a little Diego Luna or insert the under 23 really good player for the summer type of thing. McGlynn for mids now, obviously forwards. I mean, who are we talking for forwards under 23? For the summer, let's have a quick look, like MLS wise. Major League Soccer. Navarro's been good, but he'll age out. Avstan, Andre Gomez, 20 quid. Christian Oliveira, Vargas is obviously up there. Carranza, but he's going to move and he's aging out. Sang Bin could be a nice one. Sang Bin's looking pretty sharp right now. I was a believer back in the K-League, by the way. I had the Super Rare like 2.5 years ago. Wish I still held on to that. But yeah, I'd say Sang Bin at that price probably looks like a decent option. There's not much out there really is the issue. But yeah, I definitely think he could, be a bit of a stopgap for sure. Joel says, I'm going to keep my Valladolid boys and play them in D3, D4 in New La Liga Classic Comp. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be fine, for sure. Well, I wonder if you'll miss Copper with Jamaica too then. Probably. Could think about Tangsvik, Nemsik, under 23 Joe over the summer. Rosenberg haven't been amazing though. Tobias, what's the consensus on Pereira this weekend? Am I Pereira in or Pereira out? He seemed to have played pretty well last game. I know it probably depends on that guy getting in, like not being injured. The actual number, like the number 1 left back. But yeah, any updates on that? And then as far as challenges go, Drake, I know again it obviously hinges a lot on Charlotte doing well, but Kalina's fucking on fire. 5 clean sheets in 5. Having 2 of him probably hasn't been a bad thing at all. But again, it's probably just differentiating a little bit, isn't it, from like the Charlotte's like mid/forwards, which you do have a little bit with, Vargas, again under 23 though. But I definitely think you're missing out on like a Rusnak or somebody like, they don't have to be upper echelon of under 20 MLS mids, but definitely have something different in there, to go again. Like if Charlotte are away to whoever, insert good MLS team, then it does become, pretty tough. So yeah, definitely add, a couple of mids and forwards outside of Charlotte, under 23 wise / not under 23. And I think, you're in a place there with, a decent array of options for the summer, Drake, to be honest. So, oh yeah, Drake's here. What's going on, mate? Thanks, Harry. I'll definitely have a scout at the under 23 MLS guys and see what I want to pick up. Have classes for a couple of more hours, Harry, but just stopping in now. Hopefully I can catch the end of the stream. Love that, AG. Love that, mate. Kalina's been great. Yeah, he's been unreal, hasn't he? Unbelievable. Okay. Jonah Ladd. So we've got Jonah Ladd. We've got me, SSV. We've got Simon, Tobe. We've got Man Munster, Bonesy, Adrian. We've got Stan, Dembois, AG, Kennedy, Aussie, and that's it. So not a ton left, to be fair. How long are we? Hour and 43. Not terrible. Might have to play under 23 this weekend. Don't have a keeper, but have Tolkien, Santi, and Luna, JPH. Ooh, that's a nice. That's a nice little contingency. I think Pereira's in depends on M6 injury. Got you. Because his L15 is so low right now. I can play like a really good. I say really good. I hope it's really good. Like it's really good on paper. Let me just show you quickly. I can play a lovely little 240. Look at this. Magnus as the forward. Pereira as a defender. I actually can't play that right now. That was before the L15s have updated. But I can play Piton, which would, complement the defensive stack. Like that's a decent 240 team. 82 lineup strength score. Can't fit a Meyer in. I could fit in Chonier actually. But he's away to Philly, which is probably not fun. But yeah, I would like to play that, if I'm being honest. Because yeah, obviously we have Matson for one more thing. And I swapped my old Pereira for this new Pereira, because I have the in-season one now. And I didn't want it, well, I wanted it because it had a better bonus. My old season Pereira that I won was like 1% bonus, with this one's like 7.5. So Captain Santi. Yeah, I would probably Captain Santi, to be fair. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, to be fair, the Vasco Flamengo won't be an easy game by any means, but yeah, if I could have played a Maya over Piton, it would have looked a little bit better, I think. Akida's been pretty good though. Akida at home to Gambit might be okay. Like he's not really good for like anything above a 70. Well, I mean, he got an 80 down by here actually, but that could also work. 84 lineup strength scores, not bad at all. But yeah, back to business. Tobias Sadith, what's going on, mate? Hi, Harry. If you had the option to play 2 Premier League stacks for next season, who would they be? Ooh, very tough to say early on, but like the obvious answer is obviously Man City. Like I don't take a rocket scientist to call that one out. I do like Chelsea, honestly, if they can get, like if the manager comes in and does his thing on whatever, I think they have a really nice, like, young contingency of players that could really do well. So I think that's more like maybe an under 23 stack realistically, but if we're talking just Prem, then yeah, Man City. I mean, it's hard to look past Arsenal as well, right? Like, there's still not like a defender that, like, if Timber starts for Arsenal next year, he could be a monster. So like if you had Timber, Raya, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Saka, Rice, and obviously the forward's kind of the issue though with Arsenal a little bit, isn't it? Unless Havertz gets forward cards next year potentially. So yeah, Man City's the obvious one. I can't really give you like a guaranteed answer for the second one, other than maybe Arsenal. It's tough. It's really tough to say, genuinely. Maybe Tottenham. But again, the forward might be... Well, I say that. No, Son will be the forward. Yeah, Tottenham might be fine. Son, Maddison. double defender maybe, and then goalkeeper potentially. If Palace recruit well into Glasgow, they could be a great option playing some good football. Yeah. If they can keep hold of their boys, though, but like you got to think, surely Elise leaves, Eze wouldn't be far off leaving. You know, like if they do lose those two, that team then becomes obviously stifled, right? And yeah, you got to obviously weigh that up. But White players ball, yeah, he is Kennedy. I agree with you. He is. I do agree with you. United stack of Nana, new defender, new midfielder. Fuck's sake, though. That's funny. That is funny. No worries, Siddharth. No worries at all, mate. Okay, back to business. Jonah. Until the new season, just looking to play Challenger with MLS cards, both at limited in-season and rare classic. Playing under 23 and contender around my Rosenborg cards. Based on last month's gallery review, I went and got hold of a strong MLS striker at rare and a couple other forward options for backup. Do you think I'm lacking anywhere else? I do like the Houston stack, but feel like there's maybe some cheap MLS rares about that I could do with getting to target fixtures when Houston have a tough matchup. Are there any that you recommend? Okay, so I want to look at your MLS rare cards first. So obviously, yeah, Houston goalkeepers, which is fun. So yeah, you've got the majority of the Houston boys, haven't you? So you do need a differentiator. So you've got Klaus, you've got Russell, nice, Fafa. Ibrahim obviously plays for Houston, but yeah, so you've got a couple of good forwards outside of Houston, which is nice. It's the mids, like you said. Yeah, I mean, again, I've mentioned him a few times. I'm a big Rusnak fan. I think Rusnak, you know, at the price isn't breaking the bank. If we're talking MLS mids and differentiating, I think they have quite a few home fixtures coming up. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 3 home fixtures in a row. Away, home again 3 times, 4 times if you're talking League Cup. Like Seattle have a really good run coming. So like getting a Rusnak in potentially wouldn't be the stupidest of ideas, I don't think. Obviously, I do like a Shonier, but I don't know what's going to go on with him if he moves or whatever. I will have another little look for you, though. Just before we just move on. But yeah, I do want to have a little look at, what are the sort of budgety mids that we could get involved in. I mean, Robin Lod maybe, but I'd still take a Rusnak with the fixtures they've got coming up over him. Again, I'm looking for like relative value. Rosario maybe might not be too terrible for the price. But if we're talking that amount, I'd probably go and get a Shonier, in my opinion. If we know, like I say, if we're not going to know where he's going to move, but Jared Stroud hasn't been terrible either for DC. Relatively cheap. I mean, Klitsch at 60 quid feels quite fun. Like that doesn't seem terrible. Mateus Rojas at 40, yeah, maybe. Even a Christian Roldan, maybe 23 quid isn't the end of the world. Ashley Westwood 8 quid. That's not terrible. He's not gonna like score you 100, but you can rely on him. I think Ladero at 17 quid's another really good one. Obviously getting on a bit, but Jesus, he's still capable of good scores. Definitely think Ladero's in the conversation at that price, 100%, mate. Yeah, Ladero, Rusnak. There's definitely a few in there that I'd look at. Kennedy said depends on your budget, right? 100%. Around 50 lower than Rusnak, 100 Geordie, 150 Evander, but I think he's close to 200. Yeah, that sounds about right. Seattle does have a wonderful schedule. Yeah, they really do. I like Oyeda, sorry, in RSL. Doesn't have peaks though. Maybe get Robin Lott, yeah. Yeah. There's a few options, but I think Ladero on his day, if you're confident he starts and stuff, at home for Orlando is not a bad card to have. Like there's not much longevity in that card, but I do think he's a good player. And scores really well. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of where I'd only differentiate in the mids and the forward. I don't think you need to do that in defense, to be honest, with Houston, regardless of home or away. I think keep the defensive stack together, realistically. Klitsch is a great shout at 60. Yeah, he does feel quite cheap, doesn't he, for 60 quid? I have a bit of a DC stack going on, so I am maybe inclined to get a Klitsch in. Maybe if I can get an in-season one for pretty cheap, that wouldn't be terrible. Okay, hope that all makes sense, mate. Me SSV up next. And he's looking to compete in 3 rare contender classic teams and both of my limited collections, but my main focus is on winning cards and boxes in rare divisions. My main goal for next season is to get a podium in classic rare contender. Another goal of mine is to compete with rare cards in midweek game weeks on the cheap through buying non-covered players which play in a Europa competition. So UEFA Champions League, Conference League, and Champions League, okay. And which can also still move back to covered leagues as there's only upside in those cards, in my opinion. Okay, so you want to buy blue X cards that play in the European competition is basically what you're saying there, right? I think. Okay, do you think the rare cards I have are good enough quality to compete at the top of contender divisions, knowing, of course, teams like Celtic, Salzburg, etc. also competing? And what is your opinion on my strategy on buying non-covered players? So yeah, the non-covered players thing, I don't think it's a terrible idea. Yeah, like buying like Olympiacos players and stuff, right? Like players who don't play in a covered league, but they do play in the Champions League or Conference League or Europa League on the midweeks. I don't think it's terrible at all. It might be tough to get hold of some of them, if that makes sense. Like supplies might be quite short and people might not be willing to sell for like a stupidly low price and stuff. I don't think it's the best idea in the world. Like I don't think those cards are going to outscore normal cards, if that makes any sense. You know, you'll get the odd game week where, you know, it might work for you on a certain matchup or whatever. But I don't think it's like a rinse and repeat kind of strategy in that, like playing them in SO5. Like you said, they might go back to a covered league, which helps. Like you said, there is upside in it. So yeah, I agree. Klitsch is out of contract. Okay. Yeah, okay, that maybe explains it. But anyway, rare cards in contenders. Let's have a little look at what we got going on. So, can these compete with the likes of the big boys? So, we've got Gutlebauer, who's the... Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but he plays obviously in Austria. Noah Desten, Frankie Kent, Handel, Baumgartner. Yeah, cards who can score really, really decent peaks on their day. Horvath, Igor, Muller. This guy's been pretty good. Outside of Gurgic, Stefan's decent as well. I definitely think there's a mid to be had. I think, like you said, if you are competing with these big contender lineups, I definitely think there's room to maybe get a nice little smasher mid. You do look like you have some good forwards, depth wise. I think mid is probably where you're a little bit weaker. Everyone that's competing for first are going to have like a smasher mid most game weeks, right? So I definitely try and get a few of them in. Defenders, you look pretty fine if we're talking like playing one lineup. I don't think you need a ton of other options, but definitely for mid, I think you could probably slim down the amount of mids you have and just condense them into like 3 or 4 really good mids. Missing a Cabal in September if he stays. Yeah, you're going to need someone like that. You're going to need an absolute 80 plus, basically virtually every game week to compete. It's just as simple as that. And I'm not saying that would come from the same player every game week, but you would need a rotation of 3 or 4 midfielders that can do that for you on that game week every week, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of where I would start with the mids, mate, and with that contender side of things, 100%. So yeah, I'm just having a look at what else. I mean, yeah, that's kind of it. Like I said, yeah, the quality is fine. It's not upper echelon, but there's definitely cards there that come into that conversation from your forwards and your defenders. Like what is this goalkeeper like as far as keeping cleanies and whatever. Scores are a bit all, yeah. I mean, 28 AA, you can obviously score pretty well. 2 error-led to goals. Don't fill me with an immense amount of confidence. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know how harsh they are, but he is able to score really well. So if he gets the starting gig again, obviously great. Austria does have a bit of a break, doesn't it? So keep an eye on that. So like maybe you want to have another goalkeeper to play during, the times that Austria don't play, to keep alive some of these Bundesliga 2 players and stuff. And Switzerland, I don't know Switzerland's schedule inside and out, but yeah, Austria's off for 8 weeks over Christmas, exactly. And so yeah, I definitely think that comes into play somewhere. Maybe getting another goalie in at some point, but definitely midfielders, like some smasher mids from like Ligue 2, Bundesliga 2, Van Izek type of cards, right? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that one, mate. So yeah, hope that all helps. Next up is Simon, which never allows me to type the G for whatever reason, but Simon's in. Okay, Simon. Ideally would like to have some sort of strength in Champ Rare and start building my collection into that. My question is, what do you think is best to do? Invest in a specific collection and bank on one team that has European utility, or pick up players based off performance and potential and build the collection like that. Also, what do you think is the best strategy? Buy now and play classic next season, or wait until in-season comes out, pay a premium for them and go from there? Also understand my MLS rare defenders are not great, but how many do you think I should get to be able to put out strong lineups, and any other gap suggestions you may have are welcome. Planning to pick up a Vanda and Mora soon enough. What are your thoughts? Okay. Nice bunch of questions there, but I feel like I can answer them with relative certainty. So, first one is invest in a specific collection or bank on one team. The part when you say European utility, like me and Quinny made a video yesterday actually on his channel. We did a champion version on his channel, like, talking about preparing for champions next season. And we did an under 23 version on my channel, which will go out probably Friday actually. But anyway, and referencing that, we kind of spoke about like European utility is a good thing, but it's obviously a burden as well. Like we've seen Brighton this season absolutely capitulate early on in the season because the depth of the team just didn't work, right? Villa it'll probably happen to Villa next season because they play Champions League. Like, if you are going to pick up a whole collection, make sure it's like one of the like really good teams, like a Real Madrid or a City, like somebody that like we really know, not really know their team necessarily game week to game week, but that they're going to compete in that midweek. You don't want to pick up a Villa just for the sake of they just play Champions League, because most of the time Villa aren't going to be outscoring the Real Madrid, City, Arsenal, whoever, insert good European team stack, right? So if you are going to, like, I think the answer is buy a full collection, but make sure it's a team that, like, they are going to actually, like, you kind of just know they're going to compete in those midweeks. And it makes having the whole collection worthwhile because well, on the weekend, Brahim Diaz is going to come in and play for Real Madrid, or Arda Güler is going to come in and play for Real Madrid. But on the midweek, Vinny, Rodrigo, Bellingham, Mbappe, like, they're going to play. You know what I mean? Like, for me, if you're going to buy a whole collection, it needs to be someone that, like, has legit midweek utility, not just playing. Like, it's the whole compete versus compete question. Happened to Newcastle as well, Kennedy says. Exactly that. I was thinking more example, Chelsea could pick up some of the cheaper players that don't start, and we'll go in and have a go in the Europa Conference League. Yeah, like, that works, but I think, yeah, like, I get it. Like, that does kind of work. Chelsea probably fall into that category of, yeah, we don't necessarily know how they're going to deal with it, but you'd like to think with the amount of players that Chelsea buy, they could get away with, having the depth and being competitive on both midweek and weekend. So yeah, I don't think Chelsea's a bad shout, to be honest, Si, honestly, because we know they have some really good young players, and even a few older ones. But they probably have the depth. They do suffer with injuries, as every team does. But yeah, you could probably get away with a Chelsea, I think. Sven says, I think you either need a really strong team or a team that doesn't have Europe. I agree. Yeah, this is what I was going to come to. Also look at a collection from a club that is known to bring up future stars like Monaco, Dortmund. Right. That was the point I was going to bring up as well, which, good point for reminding me there. But yeah, you either go for a team that has Europe and are going to compete, or you go for a team that doesn't have Europe, for me. Those are the distinctions. You shouldn't go for something in the middle, if that makes sense. Gavin Ty, what's going on, mate? Thank you for being here. But do you get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you either need to be able to have a collection that competes in the midweek, and I mean compete, or somebody that just doesn't have Europe. You know what I mean? Midweeks are such a crapshoot. I would personally prioritize international utility over midweek. It is far more of a headache when you're talking about week in, week out rotation. So much of a headache. Yeah, I agree with Kennedy. I do. Like, Kennedy's seen it himself. Kennedy has a really, really strong, concentrated gallery at rare level champ, right? Like, he has we'll get into it, but he has really, really good cards. But that doesn't mean we know when they're going to play in the midweek, or which good card's going to play in the midweek, right? It's just so tough. It's really, really tough. So yeah, I hope that kind of makes sense on that question side. And then, and then the whole play champ classic or wait in season. If you've got the money side, then I think you've got to wait till in season personally. I know there's going to be premiums to pay on a lot of the first mints and stuff, but I think everyone's going to want to play in season. Not everyone, but most people are going to want to play in season if they have the money to do so. And I think the premium, I don't know it's going to be worth it, but as from like a differentiating yourself and being able to play that in-season comp as early as possible and start recouping, I think that sounds like the most fun. But I do like winning cash, and I think you do as well. But it all depends on your needs and wants in that sense. So for me, yeah, I'm waiting personally if we're talking in season now, in season next season. As far as picking players up or champ or buying champ cards, champ classic cards now. And then MLS stuff. So you said challengers, MLS. Let's have a look. Okay, but how many do you think I should get to put a strong team together? Okay. So goalkeeper wise, you have Takioka, Scholter, Freeze, Strubus. You got four keepers. Excuse me. Research Sherberko / Amundsen. So that's like, 2 defenders worth. Maybe 3 if they obviously starting. Gallagher, Campos. You've got relative depth. Like you said, you are probably lacking that peaky defender. Sherberko's been pretty good for that though. And Amundsen has been historically quite good. I think again it comes back to like a Tolkien. Like he was like the cheaper Wagner for me. What's the Minnesota? What's his name? The Montreal defender, Joel whatever. I can't remember his name. Joel Waterman, isn't it? I think. Getting a few plays in like that. Obviously, we can have a little look at it quickly. Because why the hell not? But let's go defenders. MLS. That's what we got. Wagner's at the top probably. Yeah, Wagner. You've got Sherberko, who's obviously, relatively high up on the list as well. Miles Robinson. Yeah, maybe that could be a shout. Tolkien's been pretty good. No, Tolkien, sorry. Tolkien's obviously up there. I think Tolkien has to come into the convo somewhere, but obviously he's not cheap. Melander's been fine, but he probably's primed for a move, I think. Sam Vines, I like him, but he just doesn't score that well. Obviously Brooks Lennon, but again, I don't know if you can bank on Atlanta being any good. Excuse me, Jesus. Waterman scored really well last game, didn't he? Michael's been pretty good for Houston. Bombito's pretty good for Colorado. Yedlin, when he's back fit, again, could be okay as a bit of a punt. I don't want to talk about Miazgar just because of how many times he's screwed me. Nathan Burns a good defender for Charlotte. He doesn't score like massive peaks, but he is just objectively a decent defender. 30 AA, 25 AA. Charlotte have been pretty good. That could be quite fun. There's Bombito. I think Bombito's decent. If you fancy Nashville to get a bit better, maybe Jack Mayer gets a little bit better. Jackson Reagan's a good player, I think. But the scores are probably not there yet. Justin Glad's a good one. Glad always does pretty well for RSL. I'd say Glad's got to be in the conversation. 40 quid, 38 quid. I think he comes into it for sure. So there's definitely options there, mate. But yeah, your mids are pretty stacked, right? Yeah, Morris, Santi, Druisi, Bogush. Yeah, you're pretty okay for mids. And then forwards, Buanga, Bongo. Yeah, you've definitely improved on your forwards as well from last time we did this, so that's great. Yeah, I'd say a defender or two. If we're being really picky, No, I think your mids are fine, actually. Forwards, maybe. Like, outside of Buanga, it is tough to see a nice L15 there. I know Olivier is not bad. Well, as in, like, I mean, the last few games he hasn't been great, has he? But that's just form, right? But he is objectively a good player. Before that, he was smashing it. So, yeah, you just got to strike while the iron's hot with a lot of these forwards sometimes and just get it right on a specific weekend. Franco Escobar always has peaks too, Tobias says. Yeah, good shout. Rodriguez coming back into form. Tolkien may end up going to the Olympics, so beware of that. Yeah, he probably does, doesn't he? He probably does. Kennedy says, yeah, in for $10 is a must. Yeah, I agree. And we've got a new member, lads. Let's go. Svepen? I don't know how to pronounce that properly. I probably butchered it, but thank you so much, mate, for becoming a member. Honestly, that means the world to me. Yeah, obviously, if you want to pop into the Discord, there should be a link now as you've signed up that you can click, and it should get you in. You might already be in. I'm seeing there's... Yeah, you are in. Let's go. You just came in as I said that, so just giving you a little wave on Discord. So yeah, get your gallery review in. There's a template that you can follow. Just scroll up and you should see my message that I messaged. Yeah, I'll probably put in yesterday, I believe, or maybe the day before. So yeah, appreciate that a lot though. But yeah, Yedlin for a tenner seems very very logical. Anyway, okay, moving on. Simon, any more questions? Obviously, let me know. Tobias season, let's go. Okay, thought I had a plan, had to rethink. Plan is to attack. Yeah, of course you can have a gallery review if possible. 100%, mate. 100%. Just, yeah, get all the information into the Discord just so I have a bit of a plan to go off, or a basis to go off, and yeah, we'll get that sorted, mate. Okay, Tobias. Plan is to attack in-season limited in August, scale down rare, but not sure to what extent. Keep challenges around the Norway lads or sell it. I will attack in-season limited. I have a decent MLS gallery and some other challenger pieces. Will mostly buy contender guys, but wondering if it's worth going for 10 to 20 champ players. Probably La Liga to see if I can make something happen there too. Any noticeable gaps you see? Any general thoughts about the state of my gallery? I've never really done under 23. I think I should. I mean, obviously, quite a few questions there. The first thing to me is the whole champ thing. Like, I think, I don't know, next season, I think outside of Barca, like, I think Real Madrid are absolutely going to just dominate La Liga, never mind champion region. For the most part, I'm not saying they're going to win every game week, score-wise, but I think they'll be up there most game weeks. And so, like, if we're talking just buying La Liga cards, I don't think unless you're going to be buying like a nice bulk of those type of Real Madrid boys, and yeah, I just really struggle to see how you're going to, win things. Obviously, lower down the divisions, there's going to be less of those really good cards. I get it. And if you're happy to play like lower divisions, then fine. Like, jump into champ. I'm not saying don't do that. But if you're looking into to try and compete at the higher levels, Div 2, Div 1s, Div 2s. Classic, then I think it could be quite tough in La Liga, I think. Tobias says, I would not buy the big boys, more like the underrated smasher guys like Aspas. Yeah, there's definitely room for it. There's obviously always going to be room for it. That's the nature and the beauty of Sorare. But I do think more so than other leagues, I think just Real Madrid are just going to massively dominate. I really do. I struggle to see how they don't. But yeah, I don't want to deter you from not doing that. Like, there is definitely alternatives to these smashers. Don't get me wrong. These are just... We're searching for scores. It doesn't necessarily matter who the player is, obviously, right? But, yeah, I definitely think they could... I know, like, the type of scouting you love to do, Tobias, and you're really good at it. So, I'm not saying you wouldn't be able to find 10 to 20, lower tier smashers on their day type of players. And if you find fun in that, then do it. Like, I would never tell someone not to do that. But I do think Real Madrid are going to have a very dominant, sort of, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but I just think they're going to be very, very dominant in that sort of region, and then specifically the La Liga comp. This going to become a thing in August. So yeah, that is that. And under 23s, I mean, yeah, on the under 23 talk, I really think under 23s is going to become very fun again. like I mentioned, I made a video with Quinny yesterday. It's going to go out Friday probably on my channel, just talking about under 23s. And I think I've got the bug back for really concentrating on under 23s again, knowing that you can play three lineups and stuff. There's going to be boxes, and well, I'm assuming there's going to be boxes, but I just think it's going to be way more fun next season. Obviously having 3 lineups and all that jazz, divisions, and I really think there could be scope for like having an under 23 gallery again, like a concentrated under 23 gallery with so much depth. But yeah, obviously your under 23s right now are Norwegian / MLS based. I do think there could be scope to to play under 23s next season. Like I really do. I think it's something that if I was choosing champ or under 23s for next season, I'm going into under 23s. That's how I look at it. From your perspective, Yedlin picked up. Love that side. Love that, mate. I definitely go into under 23s. I think over champ if it's a one or the other. If it's both, then great. But I definitely think under 23, gets the nod for me. Kunde might be my next defender. Yeah, Kunde's a great shout. Kunde's very solid. Obviously can play right back as well and seems to score pretty well there as well. So, he's basically played right back all season, hasn't he? But yeah, as far as your gallery alone, so you've got the rare boys. I know you said you don't know what you're going to do with them yet. Obviously, when cap goes, it's one of them where do you need these rare cards? Like you said, you could play them in contenders. Excuse me. And so I mean, I know you have nice MLS pieces already at limited, so I don't really need to go into the MLS pieces per se. But yes, it's all about what you can rinse from cap 240, I think, isn't it? From a rare perspective, you've got pieces, you've got nice pieces. It's just that thing of, well, when they get too good, what kind of happens there? Like when Evian gets an L15 of 60 and Mats Muller already has that, and it's like JPH is on his way. So like it gets tough, right? To keep fitting those in. They're not impossible, but it does become quite tough. And then I will attack in season limited. I have no, but I really think under 23 you should really. I'm cursing 240. 240, man, it's fucking tough, man. Like honestly, it's so hard to hit that middle threshold. Like it's really, really tough. I think it's underestimated how tough it is. It's just super, super hard to do. Really, really hard. But yeah, I really think you should have a real hard look at under 23 for next season and just go strong in that, or go stronger in that. And then what you can do with 240. At rare level is obviously tough, but you've got pieces. Like it's not impossible. And from sort of a limited perspective, I'm just looking here. So 31 keepers, Berkey, lots of MLS. Brazil, obviously contenders as well. Vargas, bit of a Copa America utility there. Nice. Okay, now you've got quite a few starting keepers to be fair. So yeah, you're in a good position at limited, I think, especially from a contender and challenger standpoint. I don't think there's not a ton you can really do. I don't think you got some nice defensive stacks, the Andorra and the Austria Vienna. Like it's not, there's just not too much that needs to be done. I don't think from that standpoint. Gold, Bassi, Luna, Forsberg. You got some wicked cards in Chal. It's just trying to mop up some in-season cash, isn't it? To go into and fund some of these under 23 projects and all that jazz. And forwards, JBH fits, Klaus, Durissi, White, Baka. So over the summer you've got Norway, obviously, haven't you, in contender, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Yeah, I don't know. I think under 23 needs to be looked at, I think, and then on that note, Dennis, how serious do you want to take that champ route? I don't know. I think going all guns blazing in under 23 seems a lot more fun and maybe cheaper, if that makes sense. Like, you can get contender and challenger guys in under 23 to win champ cards, right? That's kind of the goal over there, I think. Ode says, why is Hiradeki so cheap? I don't know. Yeah, what is the news around that? Anyone know? So yeah, so I hope that all makes sense, mate. And yeah, any other questions, obviously, let me know. Next up is Munster. Ian Curtin. What's going on, mate? One of our most recent members. We've got Ian, Bonesy, Adrian, Stan, Dembois, AG, Kennedy, Ozzy, and then our latest member, Svipen. I'll probably focus on contender in season and then add some higher end classic under 23 pieces too. I like that. Yeah, I think that needs to be the play. Vice says just uncertainty on who will be the number one. So Kovac could be the number one, basically, is what that kind of means, right? People seem to think Kovac. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, maybe it is time that the Hideki does get phased out, potentially. Okay. Want to play Challenger mainly, but also building out with stacks in Contender and Champ or Limited. Am I heading in the right direction? From what I have, does my scouting look like it's effective? Should I fully concentrate on only Challenger or continue building out? When the season starts, is it worth spending 15 to 20 quid on a J-League stack for next season with a newly promoted side? Lastly, I need a champ striker and I'm stuck between to go for Aspas, who is better scoring, or go for Noslin, who scores worse but is younger, and I can get him into my Fortuna Sittard collection. Thanks very much. Okay, a couple of different questions there. So you want to play challengers, and you also want to build out contenders and champ. Do you want to play all three, basically, which I get? And there's no harm in that. So this is your mainly challengers team, is what I'm seeing. So we've got one keeper, one definite starting keeper, and then we've got 3 defenders, but no self. Oh yeah, so you've got the Antalya. Yeah, I remember you had these on the last day of the season, wasn't it? It was Adine and stuff. So yeah, I think. So that is that. Let me just have a look at what you've already got at contenders. I think, like, if we're talking, you've actually got more starting keepers in contenders, haven't you? I don't know. It's an interesting one. Like, if you enjoy playing all 3, or like working towards or playing all 3, then kind of do it. But I don't think you should, like, at the budget you're working with here, I don't think you should stretch yourself too far and wide, in that, like, I'd probably avoid playing champions, if I'm being honest, where you can, because yeah, you're gonna, like, if you want to continue to compete in contenders and challengers, it's all about having more options every week to kind of do your thing and obviously work towards winning things. The J League question. So when the new season starts, is it worth spending? When you say the new season, do you mean like the new J League season? Because we've already. Like, that's already started, right? When the new season's out, is it worth 15 to 20 quid? No, I mean, yeah, I don't really get that question, Ian, in that, like, obviously the J-League season started like 10 games ago. So are we talking like next season, or are we talking about this season? Please do let me know what you mean by that. And then you said you need a champ striker. Why would you need a champ striker if you don't have any other champ players? I'm quite confused on that, unless something's not coming up, or am I just being stupid? Yeah, I'm not seeing any champ cards, so why would we need to go out and get a unless you obviously unless you're planning on playing champ. But like I said, I don't know if it's the wisest move to do if we're working with the budget we have. I think ideally you want to play one division really well rather than playing 2 or 3 a bit more spread out, right? I know it's more teams and it's a bit more fun, but if we're talking like with the budget we've got there, I'd be looking at concentrating that down to 1 personally. So when Europe starts and J League ends, check my Auxerre stack. So they're getting promoted from... Right, okay, got you. So Auxerre getting promoted. I mean, yeah, we spoke about this earlier on the stream, didn't we? Like, I don't foresee Auxerre smashing next season. Like, Paul Jolly isn't going to be scoring those scores that he did in Ligue 2, in Ligue 1. It's just not going to happen. As for the same goes for the other players. So, yeah, you've fallen into a champ stack. But I'll be honest, like, you ain't going to win as many rewards with that Auxerre stack in Champion as you have in Contenders. It's just not going to happen, unfortunately. So, yeah, you've got a decision to make. Do you sell those cards and then go even harder in Challengers with what you've got already in Challengers, potentially? Or do you sell that Auxerre stack and go and, rebuild the Contender stack, like you mentioned with the J-League stuff? So you said when Europe ends and J-League... when Europe starts and J-League ends. So why would you... Yeah, no, I don't really get that question in a lot of ways. Is it worth spending 20 euros on a J-League stack for next season with a newly promoted side? But as in, like, a team that's in, like, J2 right now, do you mean? And they're going to get promoted to J1? Is that kind of what you mean? So, yeah, I'm a bit confused on that one. I'd be worried about Donovan Leon as he's got dropped last game. They got promoted. Interesting. Ian says, would it be better to run those guys in Cap and All-Star? So, Ian, Cap and All-Star are going next, like in August. You ain't going to be able to play Cap modes. Cap modes will be completely gone in August. So, I don't know about All-Star for, like, the midweeks. I don't know whether they're bringing, like, keeping All-Star for midweeks. I can't remember. I think they're getting rid of it, but I'm not 1,000,000% sure. Whereas I definitely know Cap mode is going, so... You ain't going to be able to play them there, basically. Yeah, so you meant a J2 stack getting promoted to D1. Well, unless they're like that team, Zelvia, who got like a really rich owner that come from J2 to J1, and it's work for them. But we didn't have their cards last year to buy, you know what I mean? And yeah, I don't know. I don't think that isn't the strategy for me. Like, you've got to look for more proven players, basically. Ian says, what, shoot? Yeah, Cap modes will be gone. Cap modes are going, lads, in August. Cap modes are going, and I'm pretty sure All-Stars. All-Stars definitely going on the weekend. I'm almost 100% certain of that. I just can't remember if it goes on the midweeks as well. But I know for a fact 240 goes 100%. So, yeah. That's what you've got to think about. I'd be looking to try and get out of the Auxerre boys personally, because like it's going to be just very tough to compete in Champions. He had an Iwata stack but sold. Fair enough. Yeah, they weren't great, were they? Damn, what will stay then? It'll just be the Champions, Contenders, Challengers, and then within Champions you've got the Premier League comp, you can have the La Liga comp, and you can have the Bundesliga comp. Caps was all about managerial decision making. Yeah, I'm going to miss the Cap modes in some way. In a lot of ways, actually, obviously. But, yeah, I did enjoy trying to, like, beat the target. And I know before there was no target for the threshold. And it's got a lot harder. But I do like the whole, like, do I hit the middle, bottom, or top target? So, yeah, hope that makes sense, mate. We are going to move over to Bonesy. I think I've got a good summer core, so just continue to compete for awards over the summer. Not really sure what to do with my gallery right now, to be honest. Any thoughts about what route to go down would be much appreciated. Okay. Quite a broad question, which sometimes is quite tricky to, like, properly answer. Let me go through per sort of region. So Contenders, you've got bits of River, you've got bits of LDU, lots of K-League stuff. Okay, a little Joe Hart in there as well for old time's sake. CCV, All Sand. Yeah, you've got a lot of those like individual smashes Bonesy does. So like he has a lot of those like a Manafar, and we'll get into it, but there's obviously other ones in mid and forward like Peter Zuhl and Key, Tashibanda. Like there's obviously stacks here for sure, but like it's more about, especially with the forwards, you got that like Nazario guy, Cecilia. Quintero. Like, there's just those like standout smashers that don't need a stack to be good. You know, they're just a good scoring card in a random league, and that does work a lot of the time in contenders, I think, especially in the summer, whilst you don't have like your Celtics and whatever dominating. Just catching up on the chat. Aaron says, new format looks 100% better in my opinion. Definitely encouraging buying and working towards having better individual players. Yeah, no, I get that. Tom says, under 23 multi-entry, which will be fun. 100%, Tom. No worries at all, Ian. No worries at all, mate. So worries for the people. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, but Johnny, like, I know you're messing around, but like, it's a business. Like, you can't expect them to just. It's not a charity. I'm not, directing that personally to you, but I just think in general, people seem to think Sorare like a fucking charity or something. They're literally a business. They need to make money. Like, they need to keep the lights on. So, yeah. Yeah, of course, I'm doing a scattergun approach. Yeah, no, I get it, Bonesy. I do it myself. I think it makes sense in under 23 as well, just because it's a global comp. I do kind of like that approach sometimes. I don't know whether to try and move into Challenger over the summer or something. Yeah, what is your Challenger stuff? Have you got any? No. I mean, I don't think it's too late, if that's the question. I'm guessing you've just got Contender Boys then, right? From what I'm seeing. Oh no, you do have a few. You do have a few champ, is it? Yeah, so I don't know. I think you've got a good. I don't know. It's weird because like this midweek, contenders in season had like the same amount of cash on the prize pool and stuff in D1 at least as challengers did, and I was under the impression that like challengers would have like marginally better prize pools than contenders just because of like how it was in the hierarchy of champions, challengers, contenders, right? But it seemed very similar, if not the exact same. So. I don't know, Bonesy. Maybe you just really nail down contenders and really go at whatever you can in season, whatever you can in classic over there, and just leave challenges to be where it's at, because like without an Acosta, without a Messi, like it does prove quite tough. Whereas in contenders, there's so many like imitations of those scores in your Chinese leagues and whatever. I'm not saying they're cheap players, but it's very hard to emulate Luciano Acosta's scores. Like at a very cheap level, it doesn't really work like that. Whereas in contenders, I'm not saying you can definitely do it, but there's definitely more options, And so yeah, I think you should probably just stick with contenders personally. If you want to play MLS and stuff, be my guest. Like I'm not saying don't do it, but if we're talking from like a winning standpoint, you've got a really nice foothold already in contenders, and I think you wouldn't be stupid to move out of it, but. I do think going into challenges does then dilute your winning ability a little bit in contenders, in that like you're not improving contenders, you're just leaving it as it is, where this game requires constant improvement basically if you want to keep winning. Like you have to keep adapting, and if you're already segregated in one competition, which you are, I think just double down basically is what I would be looking to do. So yeah, hope that makes sense, Bonesy. But we are going to move on to Adriano. Don't know why I added the double O. Why didn't I spell that right? There we go. Okay. So goal is to build depth and try to constantly win rewards every game week. I plan to have half stacks of different teams, e.g. Allison, Trent, and Madison, Human Son plus a player. Love that type of strategy. Which goalkeeper striker would you prioritize next, and how would you play it if this was your gallery? I apologize if this sounds entitled, but I feel like I'm not winning enough with the quality of players I have. No, that doesn't sound entitled, man. I think a lot of people are in a similar boat. No, that's definitely not entitled. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong whenever I set lineups. So do you have any advice or tips? Would be really appreciated. Ignore the non-champ players. Sounds good. Sounds good, mate. No worries at all, Bonesy. Might wait for the new in-season cards for contender to drop. Yeah, I think that should be the goal, mate. You've got a really nice little bulk in contenders. I think you'd be not stupid, but you'd be doing a detriment to your winning ability. I think if you were to like branch out now, I think just double down. I really do. Okay, so ignore non-champ players was the instruction. So you were saying what goalkeeper and striker would I prioritize? So I definitely think looking at the strikers is, I mean, you've got Mbappe. Like, Jesus Christ. You've got Mbappe. Diaz, the same moves to Barca, which sounds like a good move, to be fair, I think. Salah, we don't really know what's going on. Nunez, I'm not banking on him being great next season. He might be fine, but, he's not going to be in the Mbappe conversation. Bowen, yeah, should be fine. Guedes obviously a bit of depth. Let me see what goalkeepers you've got because that is going to help me. So you've got Courtois in, you've got Majeki, sorry. Dubravka probably doesn't start. Lunin probably doesn't start. Hideki might not start. Mignon does start, and then Alisson. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably got 4 keepers there, haven't you, that are like basically guaranteed to start. I know Alisson has that Al Nassr doubt, but let's just say he stays. You've got 4 keepers there, so it's a conversation of who's the next keeper, or who's the 5th. Tom says thanks for the midday entertainment, Harry. Clocking off now. Appreciate your feedback. No worries at all, Tom. Thank you for being in the stream for 2.5 hours. I do really appreciate it. Sorry, and hope your work day was good. Really appreciate you, mate. Johnny says we need to start dishing out Sorare business cards with your referral link at games. Nobody signs up to Sorare with my referral link, Johnny. I'll tell you that for free. I'll tell you that for free, mate. Okay, so we need 1 goalie and we need a forward. I mean, from what I'm looking at here, if Mbappe moves to Real, which it looks like he's obviously on, I'm looking at adding a Vinny to this, or you add like a Usama Dembele, who should be a little bit better at PSG next year in that like he's more of the main man. They're obviously going to try and replace Mbappe in some way. It might be Leao, it might be whoever, but like 2 forwards. I mean, Harry Kane's obviously in that conversation as well. If you really want to push the boat out, it's Harry Kane, and then it's like Vinny and Dembele for me on like that second tier. If we're talking like adding another forward in. As far as goalkeepers go, I will have to have a little scout to do that. To be honest, I haven't got my goalkeeper knowledge, especially in Champ, isn't incredibly extensive. So I will have to just have an actual look at these players before, giving my 2 cents. But I think my forward chat. Let me do it by L15 to be honest, because bit of a better reflective of the actual player. So a lot of these you can disregard. Sivlar, Mamardashvili, there's obviously a bit of doubt, where he goes. Verbruggen, I mean, Di Gregorio is just signed for Juve. That doesn't seem like a terrible idea. Buying, like I mentioned earlier, buying Serie A defensive stacks is probably the way to go most of the time. Just because how boring Serie A games are, and they're always to nothing as far as like goal lines. Di Gregorio just signed for Juve, so that feels like a fun one, I would say, as far as wanting to do that defensive stack thing, like you mentioned at the start. I think he has to come into conversation. Like I can't see how he doesn't become number 1 with the amount. I think they spent good money on him as well, so be shocked if he isn't like a good option. He sounds like a great option for me. Wonder what happens with Bulka, because he's been really good this year and he's relatively cheap. But that Di Gregorio seems like the obvious play. Not obvious, but it does seem like a very nice play. It does look like Alex Velez is going to go to Real Betis. He could be quite a fun one. Very good keeper. I'm not saying he's like in the conversation of being like the best champ keeper, but I do think he'll be very, very good. And I can't imagine he's that expensive compared to some of the other ones. When was that last public sale, by the way, of Iker Alvarez? I hope it wasn't me. It probably was me. It was ages ago, but it wasn't me, thankfully. I did a trade with mine, I think. Oh, Pug got one. I just bought a load of cards of him. When did I got mine ages ago. 300 quid plus those two. Probably not a great deal in the end. Well, I don't know. He's been fine, but I think that Di Gregorio could be an interesting one. AZ said Di Gregorio is likely to be the second keeper whilst Szczesny runs down his deal. But surely if Szczesny's running down his deal, surely they won't want to play him, if that makes sense. I don't know. That you're going to know more than me, but that doesn't sound like a scenario where like they'll want to be incentivized to play Szczesny, but I don't know. I know he's a good goalie, obviously, and all that fun stuff, but yeah. Unai Simon comes into conversation as well, probably. Very good age. Vicario comes into the conversation as well. There's definitely a few decent. Oh, I didn't mean that to go big, but yeah, there's definitely a few keepers. Definitely a few players that comes into the convo. Let me just have a look at what you've got. A defender and stuff. So you've got Trent, Grimaldo, yeah, Theo Hernandez, Van Dijk, Porro, Andrew Robertson. Yeah, you've got big scores most game weeks in some of these cards. It's just obviously getting them right. Jude, Alexis McAllister, Madison, Szoboszlai, Luis, Gross, double Gross. Be careful with Gross. I don't know what's gonna go on with him. I would say if something happens to Gross, you've got like 5 really good mids there. You might want to add maybe 1 or 2, or maybe get rid of a Gross and move it into somebody else, because yeah, just to give yourself that hedge, just in case he does move, because I've seen he might be joining someone else. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Velez is like very close to joining Betis. I saw some news this morning basically saying like it's very close. Who says he did not want to renew. He wants to try and ensure that his departure benefits everyone. Because like he used to play for Betis, I think, is what that one is, and it's not done, but like it does look pretty certain, I thought. Yeah, see who has everything agreed with Betis. I don't know. It looks relatively on. He's a good keeper. Yeah, he is a great keeper. So yeah, Adriano, I hope that all makes sense, mate. And we are going to move on to Stan. And Stan wants to continue to expand his rare collection, to challengers or champions, and sell the most of my limiteds, except for the teams which I have a whole collection of. Okay. Is it useful to buy an MLS stack with the money I won and make more profit, or keep the profits of my Asian cards to create a good champion rare stack for next season? Ooh. I mean, a champion rare stack is probably going to cost you, I don't know, because they're out of season. It's not necessarily a terrible time to buy champ cards right now. Excuse me. I know you did win some really nice cards, really nice cash from the J League special. So congrats on that. Sorry, lads, I've got hiccups. So yeah, if you really want to play champions, then again, it's all going to come down to what you want to do most. Do you want to play? Do you love MLS? Like, do you really want to get into MLS, or do you want to wait and play champ? Like they both sound fun things. Like they are both quite fun. I think the champ side of things are going to be like harder to do, in that like the barrier to entry is probably a bit higher. But the rewards and the cards themselves hold value a bit better. So you could argue it's way more expensive to do, but also the rewards and everything around it become a bit more, valuable as well. So it kind of just depends. Yeah, well, what you want to do in that sense, and how much of that money you want to distribute to the strategy. I love the MLS. I personally love it, but if you're not, like, you do need to go out and buy some really good cards to compete to a good level. If you're going to want to play it in that sense. So yeah, I don't know. If I was you, like obviously MLS, you've got another 2/3 of the season left. Whereas with Champ, you're not going to be able to play it, obviously, for now. But if you've got other things to tie you over, which you do, you obviously have a lot of your J League and contender stuff, then maybe it's fine waiting, and maybe playing Champ is the overall goal. And if it is, then great. Then move into it now, and start building up the portfolio of Champ cards now. But again, I love MLS, so if it's one or the other, I think Champions has like more longevity in it if we're talking about the strategy itself and the cards you're going to buy and all that stuff or whatever. So yeah, it's a tough one, but I do think Champs edges it, as long as you can build like good enough teams. We're not competing, we're competing, So yeah, I hope that makes sense, mate. We've got a couple left. We've got Dembois. And then we've got AG Plays, and I think Kennedy's after that. So, I think I spelled that wrong, didn't I? Sorry, just messaging some peeps back. Okay, Dembois. Dembois wants to play with J League cards for the summer. Then want to play classic contenders and challengers. Any weak spots in my J League cards for the summer? How to improve from now until the end of the season starts besides J League. Okay. Let's have a look at what you got J League wise then. So contenders. Morita, he should start this midweek, right? I think. Sugeno, okay. So you've got a few in-season J League cards, which obviously, yeah, were helpful with that special weekly. Defenders, let's have a look from high to low. Thrula, Tanaka, Grasser. Don't know how to say that. Koga. Yeah, I think defenders are fine. You could do with like a Sakai or something maybe from Vissel Kobe. Midfielders are good. Tachibanda, Fernandez, Tanaka. You've got good mids. I think mids are pretty solid there, I would say. Forwards, Eibar, Chinen. Again, I'd say forwards are fine as well, you know. From J League. Like they're all, you know, L15s of 50 or above. That's kind of the realm you want to be in. I would argue maybe you probably need a few more defenders. Like defenders you have are good, but I do think you need a couple more if we are playing multiple lineups a game week. So you got 1, 2, 3 lineups with the Racel keeper or whatever. Like, yeah, you're probably going to need a couple more defenders, I would say, just to play the matchups, 100%. And then outside of that, how to improve from now until the end of the season. I mean, it's kind of all about what you can do in... What have you got in challenges so far? Okay, so you have a few... Oh, you got Blake. That's quite annoying. So everything else is European-based. Yeah, I'd say it's more about just tying up ends as far as, like, you know, getting in. It's tough at this stage of the season. The league has just started. Like, you know, it's going to be so many transfer rumours and whatever. You do have quite a lot of depth, though, in midfield in Challenger. We need Excelsior to win their next game, don't we? So they can stay up. I know they won their last game like 7-1 on aggregate, right? Troy Parrott was on fire. So, yeah, you've got a nice base as long as Excelsior can stay up, I would say. I would just sit tight until that happens, until we know what goes on with them. But yeah, you know, we've obviously mentioned the J League stuff. That kind of takes care of itself. Then you have like Will Dennis. We don't really know what's going to go on with him yet, you know, as far as where he ends up. Got a couple of Scottish boys. If you are interested in the Scottish League, maybe bringing in a few Celtic cards for the new season potentially, if that's something that's of interest to you. It might not be, but I'm just sort of speaking out loud. But yeah, I would definitely continue to improve the J League boys. A few defenders in there. I think your mids and forwards are fine. If anything, I think forwards are definitely fine. You could maybe add one mid and 2 or 3 defenders, I would say, if we're talking, you know, ultimate depth. And then challengers, I would definitely just sit tight for now, mate, and see what Excelsior do. And kind of take it from there, mate, honestly. I wouldn't really do too much else. Wait to see how all the transfers kind of fall in place and go from there. Matthew says, 3 podiums in a year with mainly limited is solid. No, that is really good. That's really, really good. Okay. AG Plays is up next. Can't spell. I always do this, don't I? I always do this. Okay. So, you want to play challenges with MLS in the summer and then field a Prem team and play challenges with my European boys next season. Okay. I'm not super sure which direction to go in. Currently, I have a Revs collection, but they are absolutely atrocious this season, and they don't win me any rewards, and most of them are worth under £1, so it isn't really worth selling them. Apart from that, I have a few decent MLS boys, but nobody really special, and I'm lacking in the goalkeeper category. For the rest of the summer, I want to buy better MLS players / have more depth, and would also be possible in a cheap J League stack. Not sure if that's a good idea. Any advice on what direction to go in? Like buy a new stack or strengthen a certain area would be helpful. Also, a little more capital to spend would be nice. So any players you feel don't fit my gallery you would recommend selling would be nice too. Thanks, mate. No worries for the paragraph. So I mean I do like the J League, but obviously I'm a bit more biased towards the MLS, and I think, like you said, yeah, the Revs haven't been great. We kind of know that. But like you said, you do have a few MLS pieces that we can work with. And so I'd be more inclined to maybe stick with that, because that's where you're strongest now. Like you said, you probably do need a keeper. Midfielders, Busquets, Dotson, Raposo, Mark Anthony K, obviously a few of the Revs boys. Again, it would need a bit of an overhaul. Like, you probably do need to improve. I mean, Klaus is great. You could probably get away with not getting a forward for a little bit, but I definitely think a goalkeeper. And potentially, yeah, Rusnak. Like, there's loads of... We went through them earlier. Sorry, Yedlin as a cheap defender. There's loads of cheap defenders and mids you could get. Bang for buck that can score relatively well on a game week. Johnny said boys in green. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely ways around it. Under $10, you can get yourself a Rusnak, a Chonier, Yedlin, like we mentioned. There's loads of players that you could add to this MLS bulk that you have already to make it a bit more fun and a bit more competitive. Is kind of how I would play it. I'm just trying to think of the other mids that we had. We obviously seen Klitsch. We've seen Ladero, probably like a quid. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many players around that like price range that would change the trajectory of your game weeks more often than not. And so yeah, for me that's kind of where I'm at. I wouldn't be messing around with J League and stuff personally, mate. Just injury news, and it's just all a bit of a nightmare if you don't have like the Patreon, and I don't know. I wouldn't touch it personally. I'd be more focused in on improving what you have already in the MLS. To be honest, feels like the play. And then as far as like things that, you know, players that don't really suit the gallery in that sense, I mean, you could argue some of the. I mean, you want to play. You know, you want to play challengers in the European season, so you're gonna have to keep a lot of these challenger boys that, you know, do score well. I probably wouldn't bother getting rid of them, mate. I'd probably just add to what you've got if you can, even on a low budget. Like I said, you can pick up your Laderos and Rusnaks and Yedlins, Choniers. You can get away with a few cheap mids and forwards. Mids and defenders. Sorry, you have, you know, Klaus. You have an expensive forward already. So the hardest part in this game is to get the forward and goalkeeper. You probably do still need another decent goalkeeper. But defenders and mids are quite easy to get if we're talking budget. So, yeah, you're not a million miles off it, AG. You're really not. So, yeah. I'm going to move on to Chi-Town. What did they say? I might get a challenge, a limited Charlotte collection. Why not? Why not? They have been pretty good. They don't have, like, anyone that scores, like, incredibly well, but they're just a good team, like, in real life. Sorry, I can't spell. Okay, Kennedy. Goals right now would be to add two or three more quality MLS pieces and build a bankroll to buy Classic eventually in season, but not for some time. European cards for next season. You know the state of my gallery. I don't really have too many questions, honestly. One question I do have, though, is do you think I should build out depth for some of my challenger teams with undervalued quality? For example, I could essentially get Hakimi, a non-elite goalkeeper in Spain and Germany, Isak, João Pedro for the price of a Foden. Personally, I think it's better with where my gallery is at to just get the quality and slowly build through the rewards. I'd rather put out 2 to 3 elite lineups and churn from that, opposed to getting crushed by City stacks every week when I had the opportunity to buy one. Curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks as always. Again, it depends on where your gallery's at, right? That question of, like, do I get Hakimi, the non-elite goalkeeper, and Isak and João Pedro for the price of Foden? And it's like, where your gallery's at, Kennedy, it is better off getting the Foden, I think. As fun as that, you know, 4-man, 5-man team sounds that you've mentioned, like you said, you are going to end up getting crushed by some of those stacks, and you're going to regret not having the Foden, if that makes sense. So, yeah, for me, it's probably more about trying to add those elite pieces over buying the half, the non-elite stack basically that you could add for the price of him, because of where your gallery's at. Now, if it wasn't in the situation it's in that like you have a lot of those really, really good pieces already, then I'd probably say something different. But yeah, you're right. It probably is a Foden over those, over those other options where your gallery is at right now. And then yeah, I know it goes back to the undervalued quality. I think for challenges though, you might be able to get away with it a little bit more, because the pieces are even cheaper again, and I think there's just sometimes a bit more upside and a lot more uncertainty, which then can result in like things happening that you did not think that would happen, if that makes sense, and it's not baked into the price of some of these like punts. But yeah, I mean, your MLS side of things is already looking quite tasty, isn't it? And then it's just about adding depth pieces where you can. You've got the best defenders. You can't get any better MLS wise, realistically, can you? Outside of Wagner, maybe adding a Tolkien, but like you said, if you don't want to touch it because of Olympics, then fair enough. Puig, Morris, Gold, Bogus. I mean, you're only missing a Luciano Acosta realistically. But again, is there much point? Because you can get, I say that there's obviously a point, but you'd rather go out and buy Foden and add a bit of money to it, right? For next season. I really think I need maybe one more elite midfielder and two very good elite forwards in Champ, and I'm ready to roll. Yeah, I'm going to have another little look at Champ now as far as forwards go. But yeah, I mean, you got double Boanga, Cucho. Yeah, so you've got three forwards there. Poku, if he's back fit. Kamungo on the odd day. So, I mean, yeah, the forwards is the issue for me in a way, in that, like, if Boanga doesn't score and Cucho's injured, you're kind of fucked for the MLS, right? In a roundabout way. Maybe adding a few cheaper forward options, like I know it might not fit the brand, but like a Johnny Russell or, whoever it is, like an under 30, 40 quid forward that can come in and do a job if, those boys ain't firing / injured or whatever. So that's the only like depth piece I see maybe needed there in challenges. In Champion, like you said, forward wise, so what we got going on? Vinny, Vert, Kramaric, Soroth, Martinelli, Coman, a couple of the Arsenal boys. Yeah, I mean, Soroth has been great. Kramaric has been exceptional. Vert has died off a little bit. Vinny, but yeah, you could probably, the next step for you is obviously a Kane. I thought you had a Kane, or maybe I'm just bugging out, but it's a Kane, it's a Bellingham, it's a Mbappe, right? Like that's where you've got to be aiming. Is probably Kane, realistically. Kennedy, he said probably an MLS forward as well with Kucha being injured. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's that's where I'm at on that one. But yeah, as far as forwards go, Champ. Yeah, a Kane wouldn't go amiss. A Kane would be nice in here, wouldn't it? If Coleman's fit next season though, and there's still 3 or 4, 5 forwards here to choose from every week from an elite perspective. That's weird. I thought you had Kane, Kennedy. Yeah, that's really weird. Yeah, I was bugging out there. I thought you definitely had a Kane. And then who was the mid? You said about the mid. So Saka, Odegaard, Palacios, Tchouameni, Kroos goes. Obviously Bells. Yeah, you could probably argue there's another mid to be had here, isn't there? Like for me, next season, search, you're looking at Jude, Saka, obviously Odegaard as well. Palacios, depending on what happens with Aliash and whatever. Kroos goes. So yeah, you're looking at 3.5 there, where you probably want 4.5, don't you? Realistically. If we're talking mids, then yeah, I mean obviously Rodri and Foden are the probably the North Stars. But yeah, let me just have one little quick look about if we're talking mids. There's obviously so many good ones that I'm not thinking about right now, but it's just nice to have them in front of you sometimes. Who have we got mid-wise? Musiala obviously comes into equation. Cole Palmer, Vitinha could be an interesting, sneaky one. I can't believe I didn't bite the bullet on Vitinha. Really annoyed about that one, but he looks exceptional. I know we're doing it after the fact, but if he stays next season, he's only going to get better, I think. like learning that position and the league and all that fun stuff. Vitinha could be a really nice one. Yeah, there's obviously Foden. Kimmich maybe at the price he's at now. Like, he's a bit more in line with everyone else. I know his scores have come down as well. Saka card is amazing, isn't it? He has the celebration cane. Yeah, that's so weird why that hasn't shown up. But yeah, there's definitely scope to get another really nice mid in, I think. A really nice mid. Kudus feels really cheap, by the way. 90 quid for... I know we don't really know, maybe where he leaves or whatever. Still feels quite fun. Maddison for 200? That doesn't seem terrible. That doesn't seem terrible at all. Bruno is class in midweeks. Bruno is class, but you don't... Yeah, Fornal's more of a La Liga comp type of player. Foden and Rodri on the shortlist. Sorry, with best in Kudus on my value list. Nice. I think Maddison got to come into the equation a little bit for 200 quid, no? I know he wasn't great last year, but I fancy him to bounce back for that type of price, like half of a Rice. I think it could be a sneaky one, that for the actual price. Okay, Aussie, 2 left. English, Aussie. Out of principle, I can't buy Spurs or Chelsea players. Yeah, that's going to stifle your your ability to win. Nah, I'm joking. It shouldn't, but I get it. I get the loyalty. Okay. Aussie wants to play limited contender over the summer with my K-League cards and then have been having success with contender European cards. Goal is to start moving into rare for the European season. Have been doing research but struggling to push the button. Okay. I mean, again, it's all going to depend on what type of budget we're talking about, like what you're able to do. If we're talking rares, obviously you haven't ventured into it yet, but like I get the goal is to play rare. Like, everyone wants to move up realistically, but I think the way Sorare now is set up as far as how the divisions go and competitions, I think moving up scarcities is going to become less and less popular. It's more going to be moving across scarcities, meaning that, okay, I'm a champ player right now. Well, I want to play Premier League. I want to play Bundesliga. I want to play La Liga. Well, that's all in champ. So you can end up playing 12 classic competitions within the same like type of region, right? So like, I think everything now is going to be like a horizontal move up, if that makes sense. Like, it's not going to be vertical. No worries at all, Kennedy. Also, I have El Canoes coming into champ. Yeah, good point. Yeah, he could really pop if he gets the right move and stuff. 100%. But do you get what I'm saying, Hozzy? Like, I really think... I know you probably want to move up, but at the level, like at the amount of your gallery is worth and stuff, I just don't think it's viable to then go and compete unless you're going to put in a couple of thousand into this game. As you've seen with Kennedy, like, you're going to be competing with the Kennedy type of galleries. I know that's champion, and you obviously don't want to play champion. Contender seems to be where you've been playing and stuff. But like, I think it's more of a case of moving across. So like, yeah, you're happy with your contender stuff, and you don't really want to buy any more there, which is fine. We'll move over to maybe challengers limited or champion limited. Depending on your budget. Like, you haven't told me the exact amount that you can put in, but I'm gonna guess from what you've already got as far as your gallery and stuff, it probably won't be enough to where you're going to be able to like properly compete at rare level, because next season there's no cap modes, like it's all about getting good players in, where right now, with cap mode, you can get away with playing the sneaky rubbish player here and there and the low cap this guy, and it'll be very tough to do that next year. And so, yeah, I think I'd have a good think about, okay, I want to do something different that isn't moving up the scarcities. Could I move across the scarcities, if that makes sense? Or even if you want to stay in contender, maybe think about playing an in-season contender European stack or collection for next season. Those would be the conversations I'd be, thinking about, to be honest. So, yeah. Hope that makes sense, mate. Obviously, any more questions, please do let me know. I'm not sure if you're watching live. But, yeah, please do let me know. And we do end up with our latest member in the form of, am I saying this right? Svipen? Maybe I'm not, but I hope I am. Firstly, obviously, thank you so much for becoming a member, mate. It does really, really mean a lot to me. And yeah, being so patient in waiting for your gallery to be reviewed. Sorry, I'm muddling up my words now after 3 hours of speaking to myself. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. Playing champs for the most. Want to hit my first podium there. Going to start off with classic and move on to in-season with rewards/investments. Currently invested a bit into champ players that play in the Euros to get 3 lineups. Okay. Need a goalkeeper defender combo, 500 to 600 euros. That can go far in a tourney. I like the Fenner stack. I could bring in some of their summer signings as I like to follow the Turkish league, and I just hit my first podium with it. Oh, congrats on that, mate. So any advice on whether to focus a bit more on the collections or to keep going for a spread of great players, and how would you move to be able to keep doing well in champ divs? Also, any tips for the Euro comp would be appreciated. Sounds good, mate. Yeah, so quite a few things to unpack there. I want to just dive into your champ stuff first and see what we've got going on. So we've got Mamardashvili, Mayeki. Nice. So 2 probably, depending on where Mamardashvili goes. I know you're looking to probably sell him maybe with the uncertainty, but yeah, let's just continue. So yeah, Cucurella, Colwill, Lenz, Garcia. I do want to move that to high to low. So yeah, Eric Garcia is the standout. Singo, Henrique, really nice one, I think. Really undervalued for next season. I think like Henrique could be like the middle stat of this season in some capacity. Ross, mate, what's going on? So yeah, that's an interesting one. Levi Colwill, Vanderson, Marco Cucurella. Okay, so I definitely think there's room to improve. Like on what you've got, I definitely think there needs to be a few defenders added there. Palmer, Simons, Silva, Garcia, Golovin, Akliucci. Gutted I got rid of my super rare of him. Cruz obviously goes. I'd say your mid's actually quite stacked, honestly. Like you've got a really nice array of midfielders there. Golovin when he's back fit and whatever. Real quality. And then Doku, Openda, Savio, and Kuku, Kramaric, Ben Yedder. Obviously, there's uncertainty with Ben Yedder. Kramaric is obviously insane. And Kuku, if he's fit, he's going to be great. I just worry about his fitness. Savio, we don't know what's going to go on as far as is he going to be at City? Are they going to loan him out? Openda, it feels like a bit of uncertainty around him in that, like, I think he probably moves if he has a good Euros, and then Doku obviously doesn't start for City all the time. So like out of that, like the only certainty I see there is Kramaric, realistically, like as being like a really good option every week. You know, the other ones there's uncertainties. There's some great players there. It's just how do they fall? How does the cookies fall over the summer? So you'll have to keep an eye on that. Rui Pereira says 3 hours live. Yeah, it's been a long one. It's been a long one. Just sold Gazaniga to bring in a new keeper, by the way. Okay, got you. So yeah, goalkeeper does seem like somewhere you need to improve in that, like, oh, sorry, I thought it looked like you were trying to sell Mamardashvili, but no, you're not. So yeah, another keeper is probably on the cards, isn't it? Yeah, you've probably got to look for somebody like really good, if that makes sense, like a Courtois, like somebody like really, really high level to Stegen. Like I'd really try and push the boat out, because at champ level, like as we know, it is very competitive and you've got to be in the mix. And as far as like the collection thing goes, like I wouldn't be as worried about, like I think collections are great and whatever. Like I'm on the like, just get to like 1 to 2 to 3% for me to be in and around it. I think the 4s and 5%, I'm not saying like they're unnecessary, but I prefer to go out and buy like really good cards and have 1 to 2% on them than like go out and buy a whole collection of one team just to have 5% for the sake of having 5%. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think concentrate on just getting good cards in. Just don't worry about their bonus too much. You know, you can work on getting the 1, 2, 3% along the road, but work on getting good quality in first. And like you said, yeah, goalkeeper defender combo, 500 to 600 euros. Yeah, I'm looking at Real Madrid's, I'm looking at Barca's, I'm looking at maybe an Arsenal. You know, I think you want a relative amount of like certainty with that combo. Like you need something that's going to get, you know, multiple clean sheets over the course of the year, and that's going to probably come from, you know, the best teams in the league. And so, yeah, I'd be trying to play it safe with that. I wouldn't try and cheat that. I think you can cheat sometimes a midfielder and a forward now and again on, when I say cheat, I mean like you can get away with like just buying the hot guy, or like lucking into having the hot guy, like an Nkunku, could be amazing for the first 5 games next season or the first 10 games, and then he gets injured. Like, I'm not wishing that upon him, but with the array of forwards you have, there's going to be a good score in there somewhere every week, as long as a couple of these fall into the right places. Like Kramaric, like I said, is probably the biggest certainty there. Mids, I'm pretty happy with how the mids look, honestly. I don't think that needs much work. It's just that, yeah, defender-goalkeeper combo, which, like we said, we looked early on like champ keepers. It's not easy to do, obviously, as far as scouting for it and knowing who's going to get 20 clean sheets or however many next year, right? It's so hard to know. I mean, Courtois is going to have a decent shot at it, right? With Real, if we're talking him being the number 1. Corbell, but I always feel like Dortmund seem to concede, or he always seems to be ill, or something seems to happen with him that stifles his clean sheet abilities. But, one thing I've learned, lads, in this game is whatever happened last year doesn't necessarily happen the next year, if that makes sense. Like, don't always use past successes or even failures as gospel, as that's going to happen next year, because I guarantee you it doesn't. Kennedy says Doku could benefit if Silva, Grealish leave. Exactly, yeah, these players are great players. They just need to fall into the right place and the right situation and the right time. And yeah, like, you're on the right track with the talent you have, 100%. But sometimes you do need, it does pay in this game to have certainty, like buying a Harry Kane, because you just know he's going to play every game. And he's going to score 9 times out of 10. Like, those things are very, underrated, I think, in this game. Like, paying for certainty. Now, nothing's certain in life, as we know, if we want to get, like, philosophical. But, like, if we're talking football, there's definitely some things that are a bit more certain than others. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that one. Ian says words of wisdom. I'm the new Messiah. Sorare Messiah. Only Bellingham. Yeah, he's probably the only certainty. But, yeah, it's tough with these champ keepers. I think ter Stegen feels like a really nice spot, honestly. I don't know who the defender you'd end up definitely getting. Obviously, Koundé probably works, and but there has, again, it depends on who. Do we know we don't even know the Barca manager yet, do we? Obviously, with Xavi leaving, I don't think we do. But Cancelo, like, there's going to be a good score in that Barca back four most games. It's just finding who it is and obviously having it. But like, ter Stegen's got to be up there. Like, still only 32. Yeah, you're paying for it. Like, he's expensive, of course, but you pay for quality at the end of the day. So I've been said, agree on the feedback. Need some of the absolute greats who plays 30 to 35 games in that league and smash. Right, yeah, you do. You need, if we're talking goalkeepers, you need certainty. That's one of the biggest things I found whilst playing champs this season for the first time. Like, I had Velez, and he was great. Like, Las Palmas were good at the start of the season, but then they just fell off a cliff. You can't afford to have that in champs. Like, you do need big scores from all 5 of your players, as you do in every competition on Sorare, but more so, like, not so much more so with champ, just, equally, with champ. You do need to be in good spots most weeks, and I just wasn't having Velez. Hopefully he moves next season, maybe to Betis and gets a bit better, but, he's still not up echelon. Flick confirmed tomorrow for Barca. Okay. Ter Stegen should get international utility as well if Neuer retires. Agree. Yeah, there is definitely a bit of upside on that. O'Reilly, if he stays at Celtic. Yeah, I don't know if O'Reilly will stay at Celtic. I'm quite conflicted on that. I think he moves. I think he's worth too much money, like, for Celtic not to sell him. But yeah, I'm going to make a move now, lads, because we're 20 minutes away from rewards. I don't know whether to make a little video on rewards. I haven't really got too much, but I could end up winning. I could technically win Mbappe from my champ box that I've got. So maybe there is a video in there somewhere. It wouldn't be very long though. But anyway, I might do it. But yeah, lads, it's been an absolute pleasure. What are we, 3 hours and 12 minutes in? Absolute warriors for persevering that long with me. 26 of you are in here. I really appreciate it. I don't know how many likes we're on, but if you haven't liked it, please do. And yeah, lots of content coming out. I think me and Laird are doing the Sorare Data preview show tomorrow instead of Thursday. He might have tweeted about that, but I don't know if he has. I haven't been able to check. But anyway, yeah, been an absolute pleasure, lads. Good luck for this midweek. And I'm going to get some grub down me. I'm absolutely starving. Ian, massively appreciate you. Johnny, all of you lads. And yeah, catch you tomorrow on that Sorare data stream.